Rittenhouse and the criminals that he killed, and the criminals that he killed. While in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in sorrow and in strife, a gang of thugs flew up on him. They tried to take his life. They tried to take his life. The raper Joseph Rosenbaum was first to strike a blow, but Coyote turned and faced the foe with his rifle laid him low, with his rifle laid him low. Then little Tony Hoover come skating to the fray, but Coyote drew a bead on him, and he took his life away. He took his life away. The last to try young Rittenhouse was pistol packing Gage, but Coyote blew his arm in two, and Gage did run away, and Gage did run away. Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent, it's only common sense, for he did not do nothing wrong. He fought in self-defense. He fought in self-defense.
They'll look high and they'll look low.
They'll look everywhere we go.
But when the sinners find us, we won't hide. They'll come loud and they'll come fast.
But we shoot first and we can last.
Keep your rifle by your side. Singing, oh Lord, this earth was made for us. Singing, oh Lord, this sinful life just ain't enough. So we'll take a stand, 'cause we must protect our land. Keep your rifle by your side.
They'll come day and they'll come night. They'll have our children in their sights. But if they don't have faith, their eyes are blind.
They can scream and they can shout, but they can never smoke us out. Keep your rifle by your side. Singing, oh Lord, this earth was made for us. Singing, oh Lord, this sinful life just ain't enough. When we hear the voice, we know we have no other choice. Keep your rifle by your side. Keep your rifle by your side.
All right. Let's see if that works. Give me one quick second. All right. Let's be sure. I like to do my... Yep, I like to do my test. Make sure everything's working properly. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody having fun? Yeah, for those unaware, the song at the beginning was literally called the Ballad of Kyle Rittenhouse by a guy named... I'm trying to remember his exact name. I don't want to misquote him. Clifton Hicks. He has a channel on YouTube. He does a lot of banjo music. He's really good. If you have Appalachia heritage, he tickles that spot in the back of your mind you never realized you had. Yeah, people are asking for the name of it. Yeah, it was one sec. I will raise my volume. There we go. I'm also a bit further away from the mic. I feel lazy right now. Yeah, it was the Ballad of Kyle Rittenhouse by Clifton Hicks. Really good guy. Give me one quick. We had a $5 one up here. The Great Commandy won $5. Happy stream, lads. Today was pure white pill. Also, Lolly, what's your cup size? I need to know for a honeypot mod. Respectable C. I'll go with that. Beautiful Vash for $10. The only crime Kyle should be guilty of was murdering Krause and Binger's careers. Yeah, I'm probably still a little too low. Here, let me... I was trying to see if I could avoid picking up the mic, but I'm going to have to. Alright. $20 from Marquis Obsquerte. Get ready for the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah. He'll give the looters 3 times 3. Hurrah, hurrah. The laurel wreath is ready now to place upon his loyal brow, and we'll all feel gay when Kyle comes marching home. Indeed. Indeed. Alright. So, those unaware. For those unaware. There was some shenanigans going on last few days. S. Segawa for $2. Happy International Men's Day. It was actually that. Yep. Shota with you today. He is not, unfortunately. He is not. In fact, we're probably going to have to move stream nights to Fridays because his schedule's going to all hell. It's turning into chaos. Fluffer Boy 2004. Oh yeah, that was hilarious. Remember that time Wisconsin tried to convict a kid for killing a pedo and serial domestic abuser? Indeed. Indeed. So, for those unaware, you had some shenanigans going on with the Kyle Rittenhouse case where, long story short, there were riots in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kid during the riots shot and killed 2 guys, Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony something, I can't remember his last name, and then wounded a guy by the name of Gage Grosskreutz, shot him right in the arm. For those unaware of who exactly these men are, all 3 were convicted felons with histories of violence. $5 from Daddy Vio. Hey Lolly, remember when you tried to buck break us with dragon breeding visual novel but backfired horribly? How's it feel to be a bitch? Fuck you. Have you played SMT5? Yes, it is really good so far. Really good. Anthony Huber. Yeah, that was it. That was the last name. But it turned into a big national case because people were accusing Kyle of murdering them. That's not what happened, but, it doesn't matter what actually happened. All that mattered is what people are screaming the loudest. So, essentially, Kyle was drugged through the court system. Absolutely his life was made into a living hell. Media gunned after him, social media gunned after him. Everyone went after him. $2 from Jamushu. Enjoy this distraction from the Maxwell trial, kids. Yeah, that isn't the fucking truth. But, The thing is, with Kyle, it was blatantly self-defense. Every single thing pointed. When it happened, you could see it was self-defense. All three men had histories of violence. Tofu, $5. I honestly can't believe people are defending woman beaters and pedophiles. Yeah, exactly. Joseph Rosenbaum, the first guy that got killed, the dwarf, he was a convicted child molester. 11 counts of rape to 5 different boys. Yes, he raped boys multiple times. Dude, worms get food for a reason. That's all I'll say about that asshole. Second one, Anthony Huber, convicted domestic abuser. He held a knife on his grandma and his little brother because they wouldn't clean the house. Gage Grosskreutz, convicted burglar. All three men had histories of violence and violent crime. Of course, these are bad fucking dudes. $2 from Grim Critic, a red down arrow with vertical words here. Yeah. It really shouldn't surprise us that the people chasing Kyle were all violent felons, because you need to already be a piece of shit to do what they do. Oh, yeah. $10 from Yuvan. Happy International Men's Day. Remember to care for yourself, King, because no one but God will. Celebrating tonight with moonshine and Papa John's. Yeah. $5 from Original Professor. Shout out to the man who has gotten the Kenosha hat trick. Yep. Context sounds awful. Yeah. You had the Summer of Love, the George Floyd riots. Technically in Kenosha, it was the Jacob Blake riots, but, that was a whole other fucking thing. And from there, you had Kyle Rittenhouse go and volunteer in the community because he lived there with his dad sometimes. He would go like 15 miles over to Antioch, Illinois, literally right over the border, And when he was there that night, he was approached by these two brothers that owned a car lot and was basically tasked with a group he was with to protect it for the night from rioters because they were burning cars to the ground. They were setting shit on fire all over the place. So he got separated from his group sometime in the night because the riots were getting crazy, and Rosenbaum was stalking him throughout the entire night, literally waiting to ambush him, take his gun, and, let's be honest, do some bad shit. Well, Kyle reacted first. When Rosenbaum jumped for the gun, he killed him. Well, after that, everyone freaked out. That's where he had the mob scream, cap that white boy, and they all gunned after Kyle. He was running straight for the police, but they didn't care. They wanted to kill him. So they ended up knocking him to the ground. That's where he had Jump Kick Man kick him in the head. You had Anthony hit him with a skateboard, but in that moment, Kyle kind of had his come to Jesus moment. Do you let these motherfuckers get you, or do you fight back? So he popped Anthony in the chest, killed him. Like he was dead standing up. And Gage, who was pretending to be a paramedic, ran up to him and faked a surrender. He faked a surrender and was trying to ambush Kyle with the Glock, the illegal Glock. And right when he pulled it out and aimed it at Kyle, he popped him in the bicep. Basically blew his fucking arm open. So from there, he was able to get back to the police line, and everything turned out okay. Then he got dragged through the court system. So from there, you obviously have the issue of media chose to jump into this and frame it in the worst possible way. The worst possible way. They were claiming that Kyle was a provocateur. He was there to scare people with a gun. He brought it across state lines. He wanted to shoot people. All the exact worst possible ways to frame the situation they were guilty of. They even claimed that he shot black people. Not what happened. Rosenbaum, Huber, and Grosskreutz were all white. Jump Kick Man was black, but Kyle didn't shoot him. Which is kind of funny when you think about it. It's basically that scene from Joker where he kills the 3 guys at the train station. Literally. Like, basically. He shot the pedophile in the crotch. Yeah. Not Logics for $2. Rittenhouse, an honorary rooftop Korean. Yep. And yeah, one guy made a point. He held himself very... The fact he was able to keep calm like that, I mean, obviously he wasn't calm, but if anyone's ever fired a gun before, you know that the adrenaline in your system, you start shaking. There comes a certain point you just become useless. So the fact he was able to keep still enough to have that type of aim and get motherfuckers, that's impressive. That was impressive. But, oh God, we actually compared it to Joker. Well, a guy wanted context, and it's like, yeah, the part where he gets attacked in the train because that's what it was. It was a self-defense case. And he blew the dude's fucking arm open. J. Rivers also love how MSNBC tried to follow the jury home. Yeah, they tried to follow the jury home, and that was a big mistake. The Great Commanding one for $5. The media just doesn't like a young Hispanic male resisting the pedophilic interests of a middle-aged white man. Yep. That's the thing. I don't give a fuck these people are dead. I really don't. I mean, they were scum of the earth. Everyone can say all they want of, like, well, you know, that doesn't give them the right to kill people, that type of shit. At the end of the day, these were men with histories of violence in a riot hoping to victimize people. What the fuck were they thinking? Like, what? Everyone can bitch and moan about how Kyle didn't need to be there, Kyle didn't need to do this, Kyle didn't need to do that. Why were they there? You know? What gave these guys the rights to come into Kenosha from wherever they came from? Because none of these guys lived in that fucking area. Like, they didn't live there. What gave them the right to show up and burn shit down and victimize people and attack people? Like, what gives them that fucking right? You know? I don't think there's any right or wrong here. Both parties were super trigger happy. It's just Kyle won. No, it was absolutely, like, Kyle was the exact opposite of trigger happy. If he was trigger happy, a lot more fucking people would be dead. He was very disciplined. Like, very disciplined. I know Kyle is the main topic, but do you have any comments about Colin Kaepernick's NFL slavery to Netflix movie? Yeah. That's stupid. $5 from Jamushu. They only hate Kyle because he's the one kid who could fight back. Exactly. It has nothing to do with any actual crime he may have committed. Because they kept changing the story again and again and again. It was always some new thing that they were going after him for. The truth is, they were just pissed off that he killed him. You know, they were pissed off he won. Warrior Statue 33, born again, $5. The only thing Kyle's guilty of having a real gas block. Yeah. I mean, no, it was an AR dude gave him. You can't really press him too hard for it. Eon233 for $3. We need to induct Kyle into our community as an honorary member of the Socialist Killing Squad. Glad he got acquitted, but now Big Bad Biden wants to crack at him. Well, there's nothing he can do. He'd literally have to violate federal law and double jeopardy to go after him again. Which, have fun. Tofu for $2. The system really wanted to screw this kid over. Even the FBI were withholding crucial evidence to the case. Also, George Floyd did not contribute anything to society. I will agree. But yeah, for those unaware, the prosecution was doing some really skeezy shit. They were withholding evidence. They were outright lying about evidence. The big thing that kind of set people off was that you had the really blurry image, the really blurry fucking picture that was supposed to show Kyle holding his gun. Turns out that was intentionally edited and cropped from a high-definition video they had access to and just didn't tell the defense or the court about until they got caught. And then when people were going through the guy's laptop, they found editing software. Yeah. $5 from Esagawa. Speaking of Netflix, how about Cowboy Bebop? Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather not talk about that. That was really fucking bad. That was really fucking bad. What about the trial over the murder of Ahmaud Arbery? Oh, that's full-blown murder. Those guys are fucked. Those guys are fucked. All right. Yeah, breaking the Fifth Amendment. Yeah, for those unaware, Kyle used his Fifth Amendment. Basically, I'm not going to say shit because it can be incriminating the way I say it. And they try to use that against him as like evidence. Well, it's like, well, you're not saying anything, therefore, you know, you're guilty. And you don't do that because everyone has the right to not talk about shit. So, also don't forget the prosecutor pointing the gun at the jury, which violates all basic gun rules. Well, I understood why he did that. I mean, as much as we can say, well, you know, you never point a gun at somebody you don't want to kill, it was cleared. They had an assistant in the court that cleared it. What he was going for was he wanted to scare people. He wanted to give them the mental image of being at the other end of the gun. That's what he was trying to do. He knew exactly what he was doing, it's just he's sleazy. Beautiful Fash for $5. You know what's the difference between Kyle and LeBron? Kyle's a better shot and better on defense. Kyle's also not a hypocrite who orders out to China. You know, just saying. Warrior Statue 33 born again for $2. Can I get prayers from my grandma? She has the coof. That sucks. Pineapple juice will really help. Unironically, pineapple juice will really help you. You will thank me later. All right. You're not saying anything. What are you hiding? Exactly. Like, you don't do that. You do not do that. Judge even got really pissed at prosecution reporters for their actions. Yeah, because it was blatantly illegal what they were doing. Like, blatantly illegal. There was a lot of shit that outright pointed to, you're breaking the law. Have you seen the response from Lowbirds? All the salt? Yeah. Where once again, I find it hilarious. I find it hilarious, I really do, that the exact crowd that was screaming so hard about misinformation, we need a ministry of experts to determine what's true and what's not. We need to fact check everything. Blatantly did not follow any of the case, never wanted to look into the case, and when they were called on it, they openly admitted, yeah, I'm not watching it because why would I? Like, dude, what the fuck? Assist Donactum for $5. It's clear, Mr. Binger. Samuel Heidi, jury clerk, before handing off loaded rifle to prosecution. Oh, God. TM Flesh for $20 in my best Uncle Ruckus voice. Don't trust that old Binger over there. Don't trust that old Binger over there. Don't trust that old Binger with his finger on the trigger. Don't trust that old Binger over there. I can't really do an Uncle Ruckus, but still, that was great. I've never seen a judge straight up yell like that as a DA. Or at a DA. Yeah, I mean, it was something that was honestly, people were shocked. When is Berserk Chapter 3? That is actually something I do want to talk to you guys about. I am very, very close to finishing it. So it's very possible it could be out by Monday. I don't want to make too many promises, but it's very possible it could be by Monday. HK9410 for $20. The only thing lost of value that night were some 5.56 rounds. Yeah. And I loved when they were freaking out about that too, where they were saying like, you were using full metal jacket ammunition. It's like, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? Like seriously, man. That's how you could obviously tell that there was some obvious political shit going on with the trial. It was blatantly clear. You had some shenanigans. One guy even pinged me on Discord. Did you see the rebuttal closing argument? Krause kept commenting on the Fifth Amendment right of Zeminski dude they're preparing to prosecute and got yelled at by the judge twice. Yeah, I was watching that whole thing, and Jesus Christ. The fucking prosecution, man. That shit that was draining. That was not fun. Lolly, I'm very close to finishing it. Releases it 3 months later. No, unironically, I'm thinking it's probably out by Monday. Because I have the next 2 days off, meaning I can pretty much dedicate the whole days to working on it. It'll be great. But yeah, the whole thing with Full Metal Jacket was they're trying to make a big point that it could have pierced through and killed somebody. What if you overpenetrated? What if you overpenetrated? Literally yelling at him for not using hollow point rounds. Thing is, it was a damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. If he made the time to load in hollow point rounds, they could have yelled at him saying, well, you're using these rounds specifically designed to rip through people. Why not something safer? Like, it was absolute bullshit. It was absolute bullshit. They knew exactly what they were doing. Full Metal Jacket 5.6 rips itself apart in the body. Exactly. It was blatantly people that don't know shit about guns trying to comment on guns. Grim Critic for $5. The prosecutor claimed hollow point rounds explode inside the body. This man passed the bar. I can't even. Yeah, that's not how they work. They don't explode. They break apart. There's a difference. CNN even had to admit Kyle didn't violate a gun law because he didn't carry a shotgun. Yeah. You had that. You had the Young Turks coming out and saying like, oh yeah, Kyle didn't really do anything. Sorry about that. It's like, all these major media companies that are freaking out so hard about how social media needs to censor everything constantly get caught lying. Not just getting shit wrong, lying. It's crazy. Karozu de Soya for $5. No riots tonight. Right to defend it against riots upheld. They know they can get the rooftop Korean welcome in Kenosha. Cheers, man. Yeah, I never believed there were going to be any riots. I really didn't. I didn't believe there were going to be any riots for one simple thing. Kyle didn't shoot anyone that's black. I know that sounds really fucked up, where it's like, well, seriously, are we at the point now where So long as you don't shoot any black people, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But that is where we're at. That is where we're at. Everyone Kyle shot was white. They were all convicted criminals. Rosenbaum himself was a mentally unstable bipolar pedophile. It's the worst optics possible. That's why whenever you hear people bitching about the case, they never talk about that. They never talk about how all the men were convicted criminals. They never talk about how, they were burning shit down or it was a riot. They always try to disassociate that. Where it's like, well, Kyle should have never brought the gun. Kyle should have never done this. Kyle should have never done that. Never talking about them. These were grown-ass men in their fucking 30s. Rosenbaum was like 35. Why do they have less responsibility than the 17-year-old kid? You know what I mean? That's the exact issue I have. Why is it that the 17-year-old kid has to have more responsibility than the grown-ass men that make their choices? There's no left-handed and right-handed guns shows just how much they know. Yeah, there's absolutely left-handed guns. Trust me, I know, because I have to use them. Tofu for $2. I'm glad they got Binger because every time he tried to prosecute on Kyle, it worked in Kyle's favor. Yeah, he was just plain asshole-ish. If people are still saying you're racist if you support Kyle because white privilege, even though everyone he shot was white. Kyle himself is half Hispanic. Thoughts on YouTube removing dislikes? I have not actually noticed that. I still see dislikes on my end. Maybe it's because I use YouTube Advanced. I don't know. Did Kyle lie that he was a medic? No. He had medical training. He worked as a lifeguard. Just he wasn't a licensed EMT. Beautiful Fash for $5. They were always skirting around the subject by saying, well, Kyle didn't know about his past, so it doesn't matter. Even though it absolutely matters. Them being violent convicts absolutely explains why they're so aggressive. Because they have histories of being aggressive. Like, of course. They were there to protest police brutality, and that's exactly it. The mob was saying the right things, quote-unquote, so they had to be protected. Kyle was bad. Kyle was bad. Kyle should have never done that. He should have let them burn it down. Property doesn't mean more than lives, which is the most fucking, oh yeah, don't break an arm jerking yourself off, you motherfuckers. Yeah, I'm not going to kill this guy because I care so much about him, but I'll burn down the business he's owned for 40 years. Eat my dick. Fuck you. Stag arms makes left-handed ARs. Yeah. Most rifles are pretty ambidextrous, though. Except for the eject port. Eject port is where you have to watch, because if you use it on the wrong hand, that's going to fly straight in your face, and it's going to suck. Natural State Depths for $5. Not Rittenhouse related, but I watched Netflix Bebop, and oh my god, did they shit on the characterization of Vicious and Ed. It's just scary. I saw the clip of Ed. Oh my god. Oh my god. If you told me that clip came from a deleted scene of the Robert Rodriguez Spy Kids movies, I would not have betted against you. I would have went yeah, you're right. Why didn't you let them beat you? Exactly. None of the excuses they gave made any sense. Why is Kyle supposed to give them more of a chance to kill him than them leaving him alone? You know what I mean? Why do they get every excuse in the book and you're not allowed to shoot somebody that's actively being aggressive towards you? Because they don't really understand. They don't really care. It's about looking good. They want to look empathetic. They want to look like they care about people. I don't want people to die. Meanwhile, they excuse behavior that absolutely got people killed. You know what I mean? Wait, live action Bebop actually went through? Yeah, and it's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, God. I saw Spike doing a Street Fighter flash kick and I felt like vomiting. Literally, how do you make it less grounded than the anime? I don't understand. Fox McCloud for $20. Kraus on suicide watch after not getting a burger for losing the trial. Yeah. We do a video on Netflix Bebop. I'm definitely keeping an eye on Pirate Bay for any torrents, because I'm not paying to watch that. No. Beautiful Vash for $5. They also made Faye into a lesbian and implied Spike is gay in one scene. Owen Jet is a deadbeat father. All of that is wrong. Literally all of that is not just stupid, that's incorrect. Faye being straight played a massive role because she got scammed when she woke up in the future. It was a major part of her character. Spike can't be gay because he was in love with Julia, which completely kicked off the whole thing with Vicious and why he left the mob. And Jet being a deadbeat dad kind of pisses on the idea of he was a control freak in his marriage. He was the exact opposite of deadbeat. He was way too controlling. Like, that is literally the exact opposite. Love when Binger said Kyle should have fired warning shots. Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that the judge didn't rip his ass for that. Because that's literally telling him to commit a federal crime. Warning shots don't exist. Like, the fact Zeminski was allowed to get away with it with firing his gun in the air, that doesn't exist. There's no legal... Why do you think Boogie is in trouble right now? Because he fired a warning shot. You don't fucking do that. If you're gonna fire the gun, just fucking kill him. Just shoot him. You will be in less legal trouble if you just fucking shoot them. Ivan, for $5, I saw Cowboy Bebop in early 2000s. And I was 5. Mom let me watch things I shouldn't have. Netflix, Bebop is an insult to me. Oh, Bebop is so fucking good. It's one of my favorite shows. That's why, I just... Everything about it is just such an insult. Like, everything about it is just insulting. Like, everything I'm hearing, it's like, dude, you did not give a shit. This sucks. Warning shots are a myth. People who say that unironically are fools. Yeah. I remember in Phantasm when the older brother was teaching the little brother, it's like, yeah, warning shots are bullshit. Like, if you're going to do it, just point at them. Fuck it. On the bright side, original Bebop is on Netflix. Yep, and you can watch it. It's great. New mic? No, this is the same one. I just have it turned up and closer to my face. Did you see the clip of Boogie saying a week ago that he's facing felony assault and starting to get nervous and spells out the words E-N-G-G-E-R F-A-G-G-A-T? I'm trying to... N-I-G-G... Oh, okay. I'm finally getting that now. Tofu for $2. A black man's a deadbeat father. Nah. Exactly. Like, why? Why are you suddenly doing that to Jet? Jet was very, very professional. He was very, very put together. He was pissed off at Spike for always being so lazy and so carefree. I don't fucking know. My favorite thing about the trial is all people saying taking a gun into a conflict area makes you a combatant. It literally doesn't. Medics carry and are non-combatants. Yeah. Dude, when what's his face? I don't remember if it was Fat Boy or Binger. When they said, like, yeah, you can't carry a rifle and call yourself a medic. Dude, my dad was in the army as a medic and he carried a rifle. He shot people too because the expectation was you're in a dangerous area. Do what you gotta do. I mean... It was so insulting to the intelligence that it was genuinely surprising that... the fact it went as far as it did was genuinely surprising. But wasn't Jet a police officer? He was a detective. He was full-blown a detective. Altiorona for €5. Since when did Netflix ever give a shit? Exactly. And they're going to do the exact same thing to One Piece. The whole live-action anime trend reminds me so much of the... Remember the Universal Dark thing they were trying to kick off with the Mummy? And then they're going to do like Frankenstein and vampires and shit like that. It's reminding me so much of that, where they're going to push so hard to make it a thing, then it falls apart, and then they're going to shrink away going, oh fuck, we fucked up. Because it's stupid. No one wants it. It's terrible. One of the first things Jet ever did was chew Spike out for getting careless and causing collateral. How does that translate to deadbeat? Literally. He was a very put-together, controlling guy. Like, If you want to make the argument that Jet was too involved with his daughter's life and basically smothered her, that would actually be a very legitimate thing. That would be something where it's like, well, I mean, yeah, that is Jet. But at the same time, this is the adaptation that turned a Native American into a black guy and started screaming about diversity. So, yeah. Captain Mercury for $5 with the Rittenhouse trial wrapping up. Remember Ghislaine Maxwell's trial is ongoing? Yeah. I'm genuinely shocked she isn't dead. Making live action Yu Yu Hakusho. Yep. The exact worst series, and they keep trying to do this. Like, they pick the exact worst series to try to do live action. At least do something that's like, I don't know, a drama. You know, Death Note worked in live action because it's something you can actually kind of balance. And I'm talking about the Japanese Death Note, not the American one. You could at least turn it into something where, yeah, I mean, it's small scale enough. I mean, I say small scale, but it's grounded enough to where it could work. You know what I mean? Where's Shota chasing off tweakers? Yeah, he is busy. Did they at least get the guns right in the adaptation? Nope. Spike carries a 1911. Even though the entire point is that the gun was a clue to his identity, because he carried a Jericho 941, which is an Israeli pistol, and you find out Spike's Jewish. I mean, it was a hint. Now, if they gave Spike in the Netflix one like a Korean pistol, because John Cho is Korean, that would at least be kind of clever. But they didn't do that. They gave him a 1911. What are you drinking there? I just got a soda. It scared me when we said Death Note live action. There's Japanese Death Notes. Between the Deadbeat Jet and the Sneakerella trailer, I've realized that racism is okay as long as you're on the right side. Yeah, that is funny. That is funny. Are you going to review High Guardian Spice? That would be entertaining. I want to see what I can do with it. A Bebop is a slice of life live action Bebop sitcom. There you go. Alright. Hey Lolly, I heard Rittenhouse won, and I beat a BMW 325i in our local TOG. Today was a good day. Yeah. That trial was fun. Ivan, for $5, you hear Gren's live action actor Manson call Gren a beautiful trans. I actually threw up in my mouth. This guy only sees surface traits. Yeah. Because guess what? Gren fucking hated it. He hated being mutated. He despised it. It's why he wanted revenge so bad. Because he never had a choice. What are some of your future plans for vids after this Berserk part is done? Oh, I have a list. I have stuff I want to get through. Trust me, we are not wanting for material here. Altiarona for €5. American Light went through all that for one girl, not the Light we know. Yeah. Well, Light in actual Death Note is a sociopath. Like, actual sociopath. You say a live-action drama could work, but I'm here to say that if so much as smell live-action Clan at the streets will run with blood. And that's the problem. You know, that's the problem. They never understand or respect it. Zen the Despot for $5. Finally got around to buying a handgun last week. Got a CZ75B. Only problem is the instruction manual's in Czech. Yeah, well, it's Eastern European, so it should literally just be a bunch of blocks of metal stuck together. I think live-action Japanese Death Note was great. The English dub actors reprised their roles, and L actually won. Cool alternate story. Yeah, well, everyone wanted L to win. It was bullshit. Like, when he died, it was such a bullshit fucking... That was the most obvious. Ooh, you didn't see that coming, did you? Bullshit. Yeah. It is a symbol for Troons for some reason, despite the fact she's confirmed a female. Literally, like, she's really, like, she is a girl. She talks about it. It's just she's tomboyish. Alright. They know the superhero trend is over, and that's why they're invading anything Korean and Japanese to make the next Avengers or Game of Thrones. Literally, yeah. That's literally what it comes down to. They want to get up. They want to get out ahead of the next big trend, and they don't understand that live-action anime doesn't work on multiple levels. For one, it is so stylized that you have to understand some things are just plain not going to translate. You know, I heard for years about people wanting a live-action Berserk. They did not understand. Live-action Berserk would not work. There's so much style to it. Like, the look... Like, everything is drawn in such a particular way, you can't just bring it over into live-action and expect it to work. It won't. You know, same thing with, like, Dragon Ball or One Piece or Yu Yu Hakusho. Everything looks the way it does because they're given the luxury to draw how they want. Lord Zars for $5. Is Toby, Andrew, or Tom your favorite live-action Spider-Man? I'll go with Toby. His movies are good and they have soul. Tofu for $2. Should I get a Beretta 92 FS for my first handgun? They're not bad, but be careful because they're expensive. They are expensive. thoughts on Rittenhouse trial. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Kyle blatantly didn't do anything wrong. The people bitching either willfully ignored major aspects to the case, or they're just trying to look good to their Twitter clout, not understanding that they're not really helping. Like, I was hearing that thing where it's like, oh, the families of the victims won't have justice now. What about the kids that Rosenbaum raped? You know? And you can't tell me to ignore that shit, because I'm not. Kyle shit in the house for $1. Do you see they cast an adult to play Ed? Yeah, and she looks like she's in her 30s. Now, instead of being a hyperactive, spunky kid, it's an adult retard. Also, Vicious looks like Doc Brown during an emo phase. I want to take a bath with my toaster. It hurts. It fucking hurts. It's not right. It's not right. Next thing they'll adapt is Mira and Nikki to capitalize on Squid Game-like death games. Oh, you probably have a point. Because, like, they're going to push for whatever gimmick genre they can to try and get money, because they don't understand that at the end of the day, people just want something with soul. They want something with soul. What's so bad about the 92FS? No, it's the exact opposite. It's a really good gun. It's just they're very expensive. Like, I know Shota got his for, like, I don't want to quote and get it wrong, but he had to pay for it. You know, you pay for that quality. Asshole doctrine. Yeah. That's great. I know Rosenbaum is a diddler, but what exactly did he do? 11 counts of sexual abuse on boys. 5 of them, including anal rape. I mean, it is a good thing that man is buried. When I saw the picture of him in the morgue, like on that slab, I was smiling. Because fuck him. The world grew brighter when he died. Same thing with that fucking Anthony dude. These were bad people. Just horrible people. Don't forget the American remake of Train to Busan. Yeah, it's like Last Train to New York or something. And it's like, Train to Busan worked specifically because it was about the Korean metro system, which literally stretches across the country. And that was a big point of it, to where they could see the entire country is invaded with zombies. So, I don't know what they're going to do with the American one. I just don't think it'll be very good. I just like the slide-mounted safety on 92. I recommend the decocker-only version if you have to have one. See, I don't know about that. I don't have a Beretta. I have the Walter and the Jericho. I also have the Street Bog, but that's technically not a pistol. He died as he lived, trying to touch a minor. There you go. So wait, if one of those guys was a convicted felon who attacked Kyle, should he not be allowed to have a gun like he did when he attacked Kyle? Exactly. Not only was he not supposed to have the gun, he also had an expired concealed carry license. So, no, it wasn't expired. It was revoked because he was arrested for carrying it while intoxicated. So there are multiple levels to, you are not supposed to have that gun. The CZ75 is a better handgun for around the price of the Beretta, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I mean, don't laugh at dead bodies. Don't laugh at dead bodies. Don't laugh at dead bodies. He's Rosenbaum's morgue pick. Ha ha. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't laugh when that motherfucker died. Like, it was literally a schizophrenic bipolar rapist who hurt like 5 children multiple times. He would date women, like, he would date single mothers specifically to get access to their children so he could abuse them. He was a violent piece of shit who was let out of a mental hospital that day, went to his girlfriend's house, and then immediately went straight to a riot. Like, fuck that motherfucker. Worms need food too. That's all I'm saying. Shouldn't have even gone to trial. Exactly. He didn't do anything wrong. Like, I do not think he could do it. I don't think he did anything wrong. I could see Vagabond working as the live action as long as it wasn't done by Hollywood. I could already see Musashi being a black trans woman. Well, that was the thing with Vagabond. It was based off actual history. I mean, it wasn't 1-to-1. There was a lot of exaggeration. But, yeah, I mean, it was basically just Miyamoto Musashi's life. That could absolutely work on live action. Even the way it's drawn, it was actually pretty realistic. It was grounded. Girlfriend's motel room. Yeah, exactly. Like, these were not good people. Anyone that tries to tell you, oh, but they were victims. No, they're not. No, they're not. On multiple levels, they were not. They were horrible human beings. The world is better now that they're dead. Did you see that old hippie lady at the courthouse hold a sign making those 3 monsters into heroes? Yeah. But people need to keep pounding the whole they were convicted criminals. It doesn't matter if people say, well, Kyle didn't know that. We know that. We know that. Remember when Twitter was banning people for tweeting Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong? And that's what drives me nuts about the people that keep saying over and over again, we need to have tech companies censor people. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? What if you are wrong? Because that keeps happening. The Russian collusion shit turned out to be wrong. Kyle Rittenhouse turned out to be wrong. How much more do we have to find out was wrong? I mean, it's one of those things. What's up with the cross-the-line defense for Kyle victims? So, the cross-the-line thing comes from the fact that Kyle lived in Antioch, Illinois with his mom. However, his dad lived in the next town, which was Kenosha, Wisconsin, which was like a 15-minute drive away. Technically, it's cross state lines because it's Illinois to Wisconsin. So that was the big thing. He crossed state lines, but it's literally trying to drive from like, trying to find a good example. Red222 for $10. I'm friends with 2 very liberal people, and even they think what he did was self-defense. They were both gun owners and defend the legal ownership of guns. Not all libs are anti-gun nuts. Yeah, you can tell who actually gives a shit by how they talk about this. That's all I'll say. But yeah, it's literally like it's like driving down from like Fort Knox. Because I live in Kentucky, for those unaware. If you live close to Fort Knox, you know that right down the road there's a town called Radcliffe. Like, it's literally that distance. It is a 10-minute drive. You know, it's that level of close. It's nothing about it is anywhere close. Or nothing about it is anywhere close to what they were saying. It was bullshit. The whole trial was streamed, and people are still spreading misinformation about the Kyle situation because they're willfully ignorant. They're willfully ignorant. Like, they don't want to know. They chose not to know. There was so much that showed it wasn't what they were saying, and they willfully ignored it. They willfully ignored it because they wanted to look good. They wanted to look good to the crowd. I care about people. I don't want this mass shooter to get away with it, not realizing any of the context. Could Shigarui work as live action? I believe so. I think it could work. Mike Testicles for $1. John Cho used to do interviews saying there's barely any castings for Asians in Hollywood. After seeing the trailer, I think he didn't get many roles was because he sucks. Also, who would you cast for Bebop live action? Unironically, Keanu as Spike. The rest of the cast I have no idea about, but Keanu as Spike definitely. The travel was closer to Fort Knox to E-Town. Yeah, you're about right. I don't really go down to E-Town that much, but yeah. Hassan is inciting people to harm Kyle. Exactly. Like, the people that keep screaming about online harassment, misinformation, you know, legions of mob-obsessed trolls, they're doing all the exact shit they're accusing everyone else of doing, and they know they're doing it. They know they're doing it. If anyone actually does research into the case, you'll see how much the media hid, but so many people are sheep and listen to what they're told. Yeah. Yeah, literally. Literally. Clancy Brown is jet black, perhaps? I could see it. I could see it. That's not bad. The thing is, I would want like an actual like native guy, because jet black is Native American. If you get the guy who did Midsommar and Hereditary to make a live-action Shigarui, it could work. Yeah, I think that'd be dope. Adam Sandler's Spike, yeah. Gonna watch Ghostbusters Afterlife? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Keanu actually expressed his desire to play Spike too. Can't believe they didn't cast him. Yeah. Let's not forget the one guy thought Kyle was working for the cops when he attacked him. Yeah, like, there's so much that already established what happened as soon as it came out. And people just ignored it and turned it into this whole other argument. Jed is Native American? Huh, didn't know that. Yeah, at the end of the show, he straight up goes to a shaman because he wants advice. Everyone was actually, like, they were a different race. Like, they weren't a bunch of white people. It was actually already pretty diverse. You had, Spike was Jewish, Jet was Native, Faye was some kind of Asian. I forgot which exactly. Ed was, I want to say Australian? No one knows what Ed was, but that was the joke with her. Rory Statue 33 Born Again for $3. Live action anime trends remind me of shitty Eastern to Western adaptations like The Ring and Old Boy. Yeah. Yeah. When I watched the footage, even a brainlet like me understood it was self-defense. Exactly. Like, it was blatantly obvious. Blatantly obvious. Sophia Narwitz for $10. Are these simp bucks, or am I just buying your friendship? I mean, could be both. I like Friends. Singapore. Yeah, she was from Singapore, yeah. I forgot which exactly, yeah, but... Ed was Ed. There you go. Ed was Ed. They probably didn't want Keanu for Spike since he did John Wick, too close to being pro-Second Amendment. But the thing is, Spike was more of a martial artist. He would shoot people, but, you know, he would fight. You know, it was great. Original Crit for $5. Yoji Senki is a great manga, and I won't have anyone tell me otherwise. That's the one where the lolly runs the death squad, right? Did you know the world's largest cave exists in the state of Kentucky? Yeah, Mammoth Cave. There's commercials for it all the time. Alright. Who would play a better King of Midland in a live-action Berserk? No one. I'm not even finishing that, because I don't want live-action Berserk. Like, we don't need to have fucking live-action in order to justify liking something, you know? Hell, animated shows end up being better than some live-action ones. Like, even Ichi the Killer, Assassination Classroom, and Crying Freeman had live-action adaptations of the manga of the same name. They would, but they would always have different vibes. Like, Ichi was crazy. Happy Dingbat for $5. Watched Mandy and Willy's Wonderland last weekend. Mandy is instantly one of my top favorites of all time. Now to watch Killer Out of Space. That is a very good trilogy. The Neo Cage trilogy. Also, Prisoners of Ghostland. That one's fucking dope. It's insane. Let's be real. Anyone trying to fight someone on the street armed with an AR is the winner of the Darwin Award, right? Yeah. And that's how you could tell they knew Kyle wasn't going to do shit. Kyle wasn't going to hurt anybody. Because if he wanted to hurt people, all those motherfuckers would be dead. Like, it's not an exaggeration. If Kyle was the crazy mass shooter they kept claiming he was, a lot more people would be dead. Do you think live-action Berserk would be worse than 2016? Yes. Yes. At least 2016 could look like Berserk at points. Live-action Berserk would be completely different. Look at the trend right now and tell me you want that. Tell me you want them to risk it. Tell me. Original Crit for $5. Salaryman raced as a femboy, ends up a near war criminal lolly with a squad to pull up on the frogs. Too bad she loses and hangs. Yeah, that was Yoji Senki, right? Charlie Day is Puck. Chris Pratt is Guts. Charlie Day is Puck. Seth Rogen is Griffith. There we go. Woody Allen is King of Midland. Top 3 Berserk characters. My number 1 is Guts, because he's the main reason I read it. Second one is Farnese. No, you know what? I'll do it like this. Guts, Skull Knight, Farnese. Those are my 3. That's not to say everyone else is bad. It's just you're limiting me down to 3. Zen the Despot for $5. In live-action Bebop, the chick who plays Faye isn't a bad-looking gal. She just plays cyberpunk street urchin, which is boring. Yeah, which pisses me off. Faye is not just a street urchin. She's not just some girl boss, girl punk, street thug. She is a full-blown con artist. Like, she will steal millions from people and run away laughing while she does it. And that's what pisses me off. They made her less intimidating with that. It's crazy. Vin Diesel is Ein. Oh. Will Guts kill Godhand or come to terms? I want to talk about that in the final part, because I do have a theory on what the ending was going to be. Should Guts beat SpongeBob in a fight? Farnese is very cute, my favorite character from Berserk. I love her arc. She genuinely becomes a completely different person by the end. It is insane. Because that's something I'm stressing in Part 3, where Part 3 is conviction, so you see Farnese at her worst, where she's doing objectively evil things. So I want to make it clear, like, man, when you get to Millennium Falcon War, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Hi, Lolly, I just finished seeing Wayne. I like it. Also already advanced the animation a little bit. Yeah. For those unaware, Kai is doing an animation project for school, and she's using Tomy, our girl. So, good on her. She's progressing the brand. Seeing as you're from Kentucky, you put any stock into the Kentucky cave aliens. My buddy from Kentucky gets drunk from time to time and rants about them. You talking about the goblins? I mean, I know about the story. In regards to it being real, I have no idea. I just think it's funny that they made an entire miniseries about it. I think it's called, like, Hellier, because that's the county where it happened. And the entire town was just laughing at this fucking group of paranormal researchers that came here thinking they were going to break the case of the Kentucky goblins. And everyone's like, you guys are fucking stupid. Did you see the narrative outline from the October 2020 interview Miura did for the exhibition? Yes, I did, and that's going to play into the final part where I talk about what possibly the ending could have been. Neil Spink for $5. Hope you're having a good evening. I have a pretty good evening. I'm pretty good evening right now. I'm sad because my buddy's not here, but you know what? We're having a good time. Favorite Godzilla movie? I really like Shin Godzilla. That one was great. Bon Druid for 100 Mexican dollars. What do you think of Shigeru's final chapter? Saigon 1, in my opinion. Yeah, well, it's kind of one of those stories where as much as you want the guy you want to win, sometimes that's just not how it plays out. Sometimes it's just not how you play out. If you're streaming tonight, does that mean no stream tomorrow? Sadly, yes. Shota's schedule changed. Starting next week, we're going to start doing it on Fridays instead. Elisha Wood is guts. Yeah. Beautiful Vash for $5. Dudes that killed Ahmaud Arbery are all found guilty. I couldn't care less, to be honest, but I will say real joggers go jogging in their Tims. Yeah. Well, no one doubts that Ahmed was probably there to steal shit, but those two were fucking retards. They were fucking retards. Like, man, you did everything you could to go to jail. Hey, Lolly, happy International Men's Day. Hope you enjoy it. Do you think Berserk will become mainstream? It kind of is. It's one of those weird cases where it's mainstream and a lot of people talk about it, but it's not mainstream. You know what I mean? Like, it's very popular. People regard it as one of the greatest of all times, but you're not seeing it as hoard out as something like a Shonen Jump. The One True Magical for $5. Why can't I see Ed's hairline? Everything about this show makes me mad, but this makes me angriest. That shot from below makes her look bald in a wig. Dude, I'm terrified to watch it because Ballad of Fallen Angels is one of the greatest episodes of television in history. Like, one of the greatest, period. Greenbird that plays when, like, that Greenbird montage as Spike falls out of the church was legendary. It told you everything you ever need to know about the guy. That montage was Spike's backstory. You never need to know anything else. And I'm terrified of how they're going to do that because to the best of my understanding, each episode of Live Action Bebop is an hour long. It's not 24 minutes. So they're going to pad the fuck out of it. Giga Chad for $1. Just saw Wayne on your recommend. Really good. Made me homesick. I do find it funny that Dell, Wayne, and their parents and siblings are the only people with Boston accents. None of the cops, the other students, or teachers have the accent. Yeah. That was the thing where, like, I was seeing some people that actually live in Boston commenting where it's like, man, this show does not get the culture right at all. It's like, I have no context for that, so I just like seeing the kid hit people with hammers. Started Barry on HBO Max, and I've been on a roller coaster. Dude, I want season 3 so bad. Barry's super good. Two, I thought there were 3 guys who killed that black dude. To my knowledge, it was only 2. It might have been 3. I don't know. All I know is they're guilty of sin. Like, it's weird. Out of all the cases they could have went with to, like, exploit. They didn't do the one that was blatant murder. That's weird to me. That's weird. Berserk is to anime what MF Doom is to music. You don't need to dig deep to find it, but you have to have at least some interest in the medium. Yeah, I'll agree there. I'm calling it, instead of Spike sleeping with Vicious's girlfriend, he slept with Vicious and broke his heart. Oh, God. Oh, God. I don't want to think about that. Because then, like, you would have to literally get rid of Julia, and Julia is the entire reason the ending happens. Because she points to, like, Julia points to Spike's philosophy of life is a dream. And that's why he was so willing to do the shootout at the end, because he didn't think life mattered. You know? Yeah, Wayne reminded me a lot of when I was 16. Well, that was the joke of the show. It was, he's an edgy teenager, but he can actually back up what he's saying. That was kind of the fun of it. Favorite God Hand memory? Slawn. I really like Slawn. I am an unapologetic simp. Red 222 for $2. A live-action Black Lagoon would work, I think. That could work. That's another one. Like, it's all about finding the ones where you don't have to stretch too hard to bring it to reality. Hell, Black Lagoon's inspired by action movies, so I could see it. The Light Abyss for $5. Update on work situation. Audit went well, so not going to jail. Just quite yet. Got my forklift certification. I got a $1.25 raise. Dupe. At least you're not going to prison. I mean, you did good. You did good, boy. Zim the Despot for $5. Is it weird that I think the planned story for Fallout Van Buren is better than 3's? I mean, I can see that. I never really thought 3 had that bad of a story. I think a lot of people bitching about it were kind of like intentionally ignoring certain details. Julia is revealed to be the big bad Netflix's adaptation and throws Spike out the window with a new rendition of Greenbird playing in the background. It'll be an electronic remix, and they'll act like it's such a love letter. The Grim Critic for $5. Christ in Heaven, the Ahmed murder case deserved the attention of Rittenhouse. His murder was pretty much proto-lynching with his killers on blast. It was a thing of they were right to suspect him. He was a thief. He was going to rob a place. But that doesn't excuse what they did. It's like, you still killed him when you didn't have to kill him. You know, it's one of those deals. Cut my soul, Mommy Slawn. Yeah. So great. After watching The Sopranos and almost done with The Wire and Breaking Bad, it's sad how television just didn't reach as high as those 3. Seriously. The Wire especially. I love that show. I'm even okay with how our boy Omar leaves. I'm okay with the convenience store. Altiorona for €2. You like grim animes? You ever seen Elfenlied? Yeah, Elfenlied's super good. It's one of those where, like, it's grim, but I feel like everyone kind of gets what they deserve. It's like, I don't feel like it's grim to be unnecessarily grim. How did the Kyle Rittenhouse case go? Didn't pay attention to it. Not guilty on all charges, which shocked the hell out of me. I was convinced he was fucked. I was convinced there were shenanigans, and they were going to fuck him no matter what the evidence said. Not even joking about Julia's villain. No, Julia's not the villain. Julia's not the villain. That'd be stupid. Julia isn't actually the villain, right? Guys, Julia isn't actually the villain, right? Oh, fuck. Lord Zaris for $5. It kind of seemed like animation for X-Men 97 reboot is not as good as it once was, don't you think? They also desexualized Rogue a bit. Yeah, it's not going to have the same soul. It is not going to have the same soul. Beautiful Vash for $5. Oz was a great show, but really dipped in quality by season 5. Well, that was one of those where they kind of stretched it a little bit too long. Little bit too long. It's a lot like Rome. Like, right after Caesar died, did you really need to keep going? You guys are fucking with me, right? You guys are fucking with me, right? Like, one sec. There's no way. Jaeger Bomb 2 for $5. Justice for once. Kyle needs to sue the crap out of the media and all who badmouthed him. I swear this is a watershed moment. War is still on. Oh, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, that's so stupid. Oh, that is so fucking stupid. What the fuck? Oh my god. Ask Segal for $2 and apparently Spike kills a girl's what? Oh my god. Holy fuck, this is stupid. Jay Rivers for $2. Search your feelings, know it to be true. Dude, I'm looking at an article right now that says it's true. Holy fuck, that's stupid. What the fuck are they... what are they thinking? That doesn't even make sense. Like, that literally doesn't even make sense. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, some people are just jumping in. Turns out Julia in the live-action Netflix Bebop is revealed to be a villain. She takes control of the mob and like here I'll read it word for word from the LA Times article. Trying to find it. Yeah. Here's from the Cowboy Bebop. Here's from the article. Los Angeles Times. The showrunner of Netflix's Cowboy Bebop explains that shocking finale twist. I'm jumping down just for the sake of no one gives a fuck. This is especially apparent in the season finale, which culminates with Julia's transformation into a full-on villain. This arc, unique to the live-action series, is one of the biggest changes it makes from the anime. The more we talked about Julia in the writer's room, the more it became clear we had this amazing opportunity to birth a villain, said Cowboy Bebop showrunner and executive Andre Nemec. To see this woman who has been put into this environment and through her desire to escape the environment is inculcated into its horror and its violence, realize that she can take the reins. That is fucking stupid. They literally gave her Vicious's character arc. They literally gave her Vicious character arc. Holy fuck. Oh my god. That is retarded. That is fucking stupid. Are you fucking kidding me? That is stupid. Like, Julia worked in the original because the idea was that she represented the life Spike had to leave behind. He was still very much in love with Julia, but he knew if they got together, they would be hunted till the rest of their life. You wanna know why? Because that's exactly what happened when they met each other. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, that is... Why? Why? Oh my god. Oh boy, fuck me. This is beyond character assassination. This is character massacre. Dude, like, and I guarantee you're going to see a video essay from some fucking faggot lefty that's like, well, actually, they gave her more agency. Ignoring the fact that the entire finale of the show is Julia going out of her way to find Spike. Specifically to get him to help. Julia had enough agency. Oh my god. Oh my god. Every single thing about this show feels like it was made to piss me off personally. So no Bebop video. Oh, I'm doing it. I'm just gonna pirate the show. I'm gonna pirate the show, and I'm even gonna outright say, don't watch this garbage. Like, holy shit, this is just... Who the fuck asked for this? who the fuck asked for this shit? Who asked for Bebop to be like this? Every single change they make is wrong. It's stupid. Like, it goes beyond just, well, that doesn't really fit with the series. It's just dumb. Like, why would you keep Ed as this hyperactive, goofy tomboy in a live-action setting where you can't do anime exaggeration? Why would you make her look like she's 35? Jagerbomb 2 for $2. They screwed up Edward 2. Netflix sucks. Dude, Netflix is fucking stupid. Davis the Game Lord for $2. M. Night Shyamalan. What a twist. Wait, I'm sorry, what? Yeah. The point of Julia is she needs to fly to freedom, hence the constant usage of bird and wings motif whenever she's around. This is the literal opposite of her purpose in the story. Yeah, when she's shot at the end and all the birds are flying, because the idea is she's escaping from the dream she was convinced she was trapped in. Like, holy shit, there was so much they just objectively got wrong. Just tell them to watch the original Bebop. I'm going to make that... I'm just going to tell people that over and over and over again. Like, holy fuck. One Piece Bros were next. Yeah, they're coming for you. Then they're going to come for Yu Yu Hakusho. Making Julia the villain is like making Casca and Berserk being the villain. Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't... You are a fucking idiot. But Julia wasn't a gatekeep gaslight girl boss, so she's essentially a damsel in distress. This is actually really smart. Take that, Chud. Yeah. Like, holy fuck, this is stupid. Everything about this show screams nobody had any clue what the fuck they were doing. Like, there was that clip where Jet was talking to some crime boss lady. I don't remember who it was. I don't know what they changed from the show and what they changed from the anime. I just saw the clip. And Jet is talking about how she's trying to blackmail him. And it's like, that sounds like blackmail. And the chick literally goes, yes, because you are black and you are male. And it's like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Adrian, for $2, what do you think of Marvel Phase 4? I haven't watched any of it. I don't give a shit. I mean, fuck Marvel. I don't care. Jagerbomb 2 for $2. I'm scared for Gundam now. Gatekeeping matters. Yeah. That's the thing, like, why do they keep giving franchises to people that don't care? Why is it always to these people that openly talk about never watching it? Like, holy fuck. Adrian, for $2, what do you think of Max Landis? Didn't he get outed as a sex creep? Like, I'm pretty sure he was outed as a sex creep. Sounds like the writers only watched a few episodes of the original and decided to make a live-action movie from there. Yeah. Thing is, it's not a movie, it's a show. So, even more waste of time. Alterona for €2. What are the chances Netflix adapts Berserk? I would commit violence. I would commit so much fucking violence. Making Casca the villain the same as making Griffith the hero. Exactly, so, like, you've literally taken away Vicious's role. Like, I don't understand why these Netflix shows insist on getting more complicated than they ever need to be. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. $1 from Giga Chad. I hope in season 3 Barry's girlfriend kicks the bucket, because holy Christ, is she an A-class cunt. And yeah, Wagon got something wrong about Boston. They left out misery and fentanyl. Yeah. Yeah, Barry's girlfriend was kind of a bitch, but I'm fully expecting she's going to die at some point. Mark99 for $1. Lolly, thanks for the Berserk Lost Children arc. I don't know what was funnier, you talking about the war or my brother's reactions to it. Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. How long before they make a live action of the Rittenhouse case? Tucker Carlson, unironically, is talking about a documentary. Yeah, apparently he's been filming everything. Julia, being an icon of purity, is now a psychopathic gangster. They actively made Julia a worse person. I wasn't going to watch the show anyway, but I'm extra not watching it. Yeah, literally, where it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Adrian, for $2, Death Note should have ended at L's death. I am of the belief L never needed to die. You know, I think he never needed to die, and the way he died was bullshit. But holy fuck. Shows now think being complicated equals smart. Everyone wants to be Game of Thrones. Literally, even though the point of Bebop was that the plot itself was very obvious. It just didn't tell you it. It never needed to tell you it until literally it was barging through the door. Because, for those unaware, the actual main plot of Bebop, the actual story, was that you had, Spike, who is the main bounty hunter, voiced by Steve Bloom, but, you know. Giles for president for $5. Why is Jesse Otaku a better Ed? How is a tone-deaf parody from Doug Walker somehow better than what's supposed to come from professionals? Yeah. Hey, all my lolly, where can I donate? I know YouTube takes a bit of it. I have Streamlabs pinned, and Streamlabs is 1-to-1. But yeah, literally, so fucking, you have this thing where the plot of Bebop is that, beyond the standalone adventures, I'm talking purely the actual main story ones. The main story of Bebop was that you have Spike teaming up with Jet to become bounty hunters. Spike is actually an assassin for a mafia family, but he left that life. He left that life because he wanted to run away with his best friend's girl named Julia. Julia couldn't go with him. They had to separate because Vicious went insane. Like, he would have killed them both. So Spike kind of felt burned by it, faked his own death, and just became a bounty hunter. Well, as the plot goes on, he ends up finding more and more signs of his old life trying to drag him back into it. Vicious comes back, and Vicious wants to kill Spike. And the ending of the series is Julia finally coming out from the shadows to be with Spike and basically going, we've got to end this. We have got to get away. Like, the plot itself was very simple when it was actually laid out. It was just the fact that, you know, you had a lot of extra layers on top of it. Because it didn't need to tell you everything all at once. Why would it? And the fun was discovering it, you know? Like I said, Spike's entire backstory is laid out in, like, the 5th episode. It's just very vague. And it makes more sense when you watch the show again. Because it's literally talking about how Spike almost died on a mission with Vicious. Julia took care of him. He fell in love with Julia. And they basically were going to run away. Because they didn't want to be a part of that anymore. It was very, very obvious. Oh my god. Why is Vicious holding a gun? What the fuck? People are pinging me on Discord. Like, why is Vicious holding a gun? He doesn't do that until the end. Oh my god. Oh, they did Greenbird. What the fuck? Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh god. How much longer can Game of Thrones ruin media? Please stop subverting. You're not a good enough writer to do it or even know what it means. Yeah, literally. Like, what the fuck, man? This is a bad joke. This is a bad fucking joke. That episode was so good. It's literally one of the greatest of all time. It's so good. Because that was the first time you saw Spike as who he was. You know, up until then, you thought he was a very laid-back, casual guy. Because that's who Spike wants to appear as. When he finds out Vicious took Faye, he changes. Like, he is cold. He is fucking mean. Like, it's nuts. Streamlabs got into a controversy recently for being a hostile fork of OBS. Yeah. Game of Thrones ruined an entire generation of writers. There you go. Here's your next negative XP song. Reminder that live-action Ghost in the Shell exists and ScarJo was a terrible Kusanagi. Yeah, because none of them understand it. They try to make it RoboCop. RoboCop meets Blade Runner. That's not Ghost in the Shell. None of them understand these things. Wheezy Freak for $5. Lolly, stop reading Bebop articles. The pain will only get worse. Yeah, you know it's bad when even woke people are going like, yeah, this sucks. Because they liked Bebop, and now they're realizing, oh, this is what it's like to have something you love ruined. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Ugh. Swear to God. Norio Wakamoto in the 1998 anime did an excellent job in voicing Vicious. Literally, it's one of those where you can watch it sub or dub, and it's still amazing. It's still amazing. I do dub just because that's what I watched as a kid. It was on Adult Swim, so it's sentimental. Machine Gun Hunt for $5 just finished FF7 remake live stream, and you started streaming. Is this heaven? Yeah. We're not talking about fun things. We're talking about live action Bebop. You know, it's making me sad. How do you do live action right? You have to understand what you're adapting. You have to. I know that sounds very complicated, but it's because it really varies case by case. Something like Old Boy could work because it was a grounded gangster story. You know, Ichi the Killer worked because they intentionally played it as over the top. There's a science to it. You have to respect what you're doing. I hate when writers adapt something to something it's not. I pray to God Berserk and Warhammer 40k never get touched. And I feel that whole Halo series is already doomed. Yeah. They always think, well, we'll do this and do our own spin. They don't understand that the entire reason people liked the original was because it was its own thing. When they spin it, they turn it into something it's not. And everyone hates it. First episode I saw was Bebop was where Spike was stuck above Earth and they had to use the Challenger to get him down. Shit was so tight, completely changed my view of anime. Yeah, it's great. You gotta be kidding me about Julia. Please don't let it be true. It's true. I looked it up. It's so stupid. They're turning her into a bad guy for some reason. And it's so dumb because you can already tell if they're gonna rip off the ending of the anime, she's suddenly gonna be like, well, I don't want to be bad anymore. But then she's gonna do a bunch of evil fucking shit and you're gonna hate her for it. And it's like, wait, why the fuck would you even do that? Why would you make her a villain just to inevitably squeeze out a redemption arc? Why can't she just be a good person to begin with? Crumb for $10. Yo, people in the chat saying George R. R. Martin ruined media. Nah, it was Joss Whedon. Since Avengers made a shit ton of money, every fucking studio feels the need to insert quippy one-liners into their flicks, every single one. Well, it was both. Let's be honest here, it was both. George R. R. Martin made people think they could just make everyone terrible people and constantly obsess over these plot lines of people fucking each other over instead of just getting the job done. And Joss Whedon, you know, did the whole overly casual, everyone's the comedic relief shit. Dude, oh boy, the Western remake is basically like Netflix Bebop. I'm not talking about the Western one. I'm talking about the Korean one, the good one. The good one understood. Like no one gives a shit about the American Old Boy. That was a Spike Lee crap. No one cares about that. Bebop wasn't even impossible to do well. This was just sabotage. That's what it really feels like. Like you can do it. It's just. I love the show, but I skipped the intro. I'm not into that kind of music. Fuck you. Tank is amazing. Tank is amazing. Nyeh. Characters like Jaime Lannister and Darth Vader have redemption arcs. I can't see Julia having one because they were written to be that way. They were already established as bad people, and the idea is they're coming to good. Julia was supposed to be a good person. She wants to get Spike out of... Why the fuck is Spike leaving the Mafia if Julia's evil? Literally, he left because Julia. What the fuck? I swear to God. The episode I always remember is the first episode of Bebop. I always remember Ballad of Fallen Angels or when he fought the psycho dude in the amusement park. Those are the two that always jump to mind. That or the ending. Because, bang. I think it's time to blow this scene, yeah. Ollie advice for gatekeeping to stop woke people from getting in. Just call them faggots. Like, just call them faggots. Make them not feel welcome. YY for $7. Yeah, but what are the taxes like in Bebop? Oh, God. Thing is, they actually do talk about that. They have the fucking bounty hunter show where they talked about how much money someone cost. It was great. I love them. Like, you find out the one announcer is, like, you know, with his, trying to pick up his mom at the airport, and the other one's super pissed off because that was the only job she ever had. It was great. Adrian for $5. Jaime Lannister didn't even have a redemption arc. The show just shows things from his point of view. Yeah, that is true. He still fucked his sister. He still caused everything. Like, objectively, he caused everything. Also, Zuko had a great arc, but, yeah, like, fuck's sake. Okay, I don't even remember who Julia was. The blonde lady at the end of the show. The one that meets Faye and then is with Spike and they go to the bar and then there's the shootout. That one. Holy fuck. I get viscerally angry every time I see the Netflix Bebop. It's bad. It's bad. Always remember Ed's solo episode. Yeah, the mushroom one. That one was fun. I like that one. Yeah. The Expanse is ending this year, so we'll have at least one more good space show to watch before Cast Into the Deep. Yeah, that is pretty good. That will be pretty good. But holy fuck, like, it's one of those where, once again, I ask the question, why do they constantly get these works and try to adapt them knowing people are going to hate them? It's the exact same thing with Witcher. None of the people involved give a shit about the source material. Why do they keep doing this? If you don't care, people won't care. Sheckelstein for $3. Now I can't wait for HBO's Berserk. That was a rumor. That's not actually happening. Like, that's not actually happening. Adrian for $5 couldn't understand why Azula couldn't get a redemption. They both suffer the same abuse. Well, the idea is Zuko made efforts to change while Azula just kind of sunk into insanity. In Game of Thrones, Jaime actually does good things as well. He's not the worst character. Yeah. That's the thing. There's a balance. And once again, he was established as a bad person that made efforts to be a good person. Julia in Bebop, it doesn't make any sense because the idea is she's supposed to be good. But then you see her realize, ooh, she can take control. Julia never wanted to be in control. She never wanted that life. She was stuck in it. Like, she literally would just leave. Did you hear the lead writer of X-Men 97 had a meltdown over Rittenhouse? Well, of course he did. Once again, these people had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. They were just bullshitting around. EFAT molested me for $1. The only time when I recall a film making huge changes to its source material being good was The Shining and Starship Troopers. Yes, even the MCU films suck. They suck even harder compared to the comics. They read the wiki of when the films were written. Yeah. It's sad because Henry Cavill really enjoys the Witcher books and games. And similar with Bebop, John Cho watched the anime and he fell in love with it. He was the one that really pushed for Yoko Kanno to get involved again. But nobody else did. Nobody else gave a fuck. They all thought, well, we'll do it better. We'll give Julia more agency. That's going to drive me fucking insane. I'm going to go up a fucking wall. Zuko also had Uncle Iroh to guide him, unlike Azula. Yeah, Uncle Iroh was literally his humanity. I mean, that guy was there specifically going, hey, just because you're a firebender doesn't mean you need to be an asshole. You know, I just realized if someone actually cracked jokes of people were dying around them, they'd seem like a complete psychopath. Literally. Spike would get cocky and he would shit talk, but he would never crack jokes or go out of his way. And the thing that drives me nuts is they completely ruined Faye. Like, she's just the potty mouth girl. Like, she calls Spike a dickwad and she says, I'm here to bring the ouch, motherfuckers, to a room full of bad guys. That's not Faye. Faye will just shoot you. Altiorona for €2. I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night. Yep, go to sleep. But literally, like, Faye would literally just shoot you. She would literally just be like, well, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, she wouldn't say a word. She'd just point the gun and blow you away, because she's done that. As Netflix released episode 1 of Bebop, they released the whole season. Cracking jokes while people are dying is the Deadpool effect. Well, they literally said they were inspired by Deadpool, and the minute they said that, I'm like, you do not understand what fucking Bebop is. Bebop is noir. It's a noir space western. You don't get inspired by Deadpool. I'm upset I have to say this. Isn't the first scene of Faye her annihilating some little shop with a minigun? Yeah, she blows him away. Like, it's fucking great. She's great. They try to turn Faye into a shitty, annoying version of Revy. Literally. It's like, you don't fucking do that. Faye is not that. She's not brute force. She is basically an opportunist. She'll take advantage of an opportunity when she sees it. Faye would just ice you and leave. No words, no funny business, just like it should be. Literally. It's millennial writing, inserting swears where they don't belong. Yeah. Deadpool, Bebop. That's what it feels like, yeah. Femme fatale does not equal angry lesbian. They don't understand what it's like to actually write a femme fatale. They think, oh, well, that means she's a sex object. They don't understand. You're writing a character that is aware of how attractive she is, and they're using it to their advantage. Like, the idea is they know exactly what they're doing every step of the way. So kind of like Yen from Witcher. Yeah. Yen isn't really femme fatale. She's more of just ice cold bitch. Not even lying. Like, femme fatale is more of like a fae, where the idea is she'll seduce you. Yen will just walk straight in and be like, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to snap your cock in half. Also, Faye pops in on episode 1, the Red Eye episode. Oh my god, really? You don't need to introduce there was a set pace to the show. They got Ein first, then they got Faye, then they got Ed. Oh my god. Femme fatale has always had a ton of agency. Literally. I could have sworn she entered the store and her corrupt collectors trashed the store. I might be wrong. If I remember right, she shot up the place. She shot up the place because they were there looking for her, and she just took advantage of the situation. At least not as bad as the live-action Gintama was. At least live-action Gintama was goofy. They were aware. Like the guy bashing his head against the pole because he couldn't smoke. It was great. You know, in the comic, Deadpool is secretly depressed and suicidal. His jokey personality is just a facade. Yeah. The one true magical for $5. But Lolly, how will I, a hack writer, work in reference to my favorite consumer movie? They won't think I'm smart if I don't imitate other people. That's the worst part. That's really what it does feel like. There's no genuineness to it. It's absolutely just bullshit. It's just not wanting any identity of your own. You just want to be like everyone else. Isn't femme fatale a woman character who's essentially a sign of bad outcomes? Basically, it literally means fatal female. What it means is you have a woman character that is very attractive, very seductive, and they use that to essentially manipulate people. And if worse comes to worse, they will kill. Crumb for $5. Speaking of cracking jokes so people are dying, Marvel did that semi-recently with their zombie episode of What If. Characters are forced to kill zombified versions of their friends that make some horrible Whedon one-liners. Yeah, of course they were going to fuck up Marvel Zombies. Like, Marvel Zombies is genuinely really fucked up and depressing, and of course, yeah. You think Cowboy Andy's going to start off as a samurai? That would legit be kind of racist. Where it's like, why does he have to be a samurai? He couldn't just be a cowboy? Like, what the fuck? Wasn't the comedian from Watchmen pointing out that you'd have to be a psycho to make jokes when people died? Yeah. Well, comedian all around was kind of calling out the hypocrisy of superheroes, where it's like, you want to be a hero, meanwhile you're doing terrible things to people. But, you know. The idea is comedian despised kind of the hypocrisy of the world. Jamushu for $5, making Julia the villain has the same disconnect as Jamie's. To be honest, I never really cared much for them, innocent or otherwise. And I hate it so fucking much. Yeah. Like, it's an absolute disconnect from the character. You don't understand what you're doing. Marvel Zombie Spider-Man was done dirty. He really was, yeah. Ugh. It's like those cargo cults that make primitive planes in the hopes of attracting new ones. They take a franchise, make it look like the original, then can't understand why people don't like it. Yeah. Like, there's a reason people want to see more Bebop, because it was really good, and it still holds up to this very day. It not only aged well, it outright is something you can watch right now and feel like it just came out last week, and you fucking love it. It's great. You know, it is a phenomenal series. It's amazing. It's the greatest of all time. No exaggeration. But people, for some reason, just take advantage of that now. They don't have a concept for why people loved it as much as they did. To them, they don't understand why everyone loves this stupid Japanese cartoon. They don't. it doesn't connect with them that maybe people like something animated that's not Family Guy. You know? We don't need to hear fuck. We don't need to see a character smoke from a bong in order for animation to be taken seriously. Anime writers often use things they like to inform the stuff, they write. But instead of just carrying over shallow, surface-level ideas, they use as a springboard to see how far they can go. Yeah, very much so. You know what they say, Space Cowboy, first come, first served. Yeah. I felt the ending of Marvel Zombies was pretty neat. Zombie Spidey was able to get Sandman to help since he can't be eaten. He just expands inside their bodies until they die. Yeah. And he's like, hey, if you're going to do it, that's at least clever. Rocker Rocket for $5. Been checking out 2 webcomics, Unbreakable Iron Ranger by Deputy Rust and Hellgasm Slaughter by Blue Striker Bomber. Both are available on tapas.io. That's pretty cool. So I guess if you guys want something to read, there's that. I haven't read those, so I don't know what those are. Adults equals sex, drugs, and liberal use of naughty words. And you see that with fucking Castlevania in the Witcher anime. Like, why does it always have to devolve into that? Why can't it just be, like, actually mature themes handled maturely? I don't fucking know. I do not fucking know. I mean, I understand that eventually you have to run into stuff like this, but there's a way to do it right. Anime does it all the time. There's edgy as fuck anime, but there are those that know exactly what they're doing. Death in Castlevania suffered heavily from excessive swearing. I'm never going to understand that. Why would you make the Grim Reaper, the embodiment of death, say fuck? He's supposed to be beyond that. I mean, it is literally supposed to be beyond humanity. He would not have the same desires. It's like seeing Skull Knight and Berserk say fuck. It wouldn't make sense. I just believe there comes a certain point where I don't want a character to say it, because why would they? They're better than that. You know, you have a refined character next to a very, brutal, rough character. Thomas the Anne Frank engine for $1. Speaking of the comedian, I always said the villains in Watchmen show should have been a group of child soldiers Blake basically kidnapped and had fight for him. They wanted to throw the world into chaos for revenge of Ozzy killing their father figure. That would work. That would work. Connect it to, the actual lore. Don't do stupid shit. The Grim Reaper drops an F-bomb. Yes, in Castlevania, Death straight up says fuck. And he goes on rants saying fuck a lot, which doesn't make any sense because he's supposed to be beyond that. You know, it's like hearing one of the characters in Dark Souls or Bloodborne say fuck. Like, you're shattering your tone for no other reason than you want to look edgy. Grim Reaper saying fuck sounds like something out of a parody movie, like Disaster Movie. Literally, like, you don't even understand what you're doing at that point. It's fucking stupid. It's retardedly stupid. I have gingerbread Mountain Dew, and it's some of the worst shit I've ever drank. All the gimmick flavors are terrible. Like Jesus Christ, it's bad. When I first saw Skull Knight, I thought he was actually Death, because he looks awesome. Like, he looks awesome, he sounds awesome, he's taken very seriously, it's fucking great. Sweet xylitol for 100 rubies. Have you heard about Snoop Game? Goodbye Volcano High 4chan parody. It's really good. I have to check that out. But dude, vampires are just like us, man. So relatable. I was okay with like the different cultures of vampires acting differently, where the Asian ones were very refined, while the Nordic ones were like very brutal and like, we just want to kill people. That was fine. I was okay with that. It was when you got into literal death saying fuck. Like, that's stupid. That is stupid. Funny Valentine for $5. Woke up to see Twitter and MSM Cope and Seath this morning. Today was a good day. It was. I'm not even gonna lie. I was driving on my way home. I just got done with work and I was driving home I had the Ricada stream on, and I thought to myself, I gotta take a stop to the bank, and I'm tired of the fucking I'm tired of hearing about the trial. They're gonna fuck Kyle over. Who gives a shit? Whatever. So I paused it, went to the bank, hit the ATM, and literally as soon as I was done with the ATM, I got back in my car because you have to like lower the window, open the door, and then because my car's tiny, I don't have a good access to it. I look at my phone, and literally I got like 5 texts from my mom saying, yeah, they let Kyle go. He's innocent. I'm like, what the fuck? So I unpaused the trial, skipped to live, and and yeah, they're talking like, man, I can't believe Kyle actually got off. So I'm like, the fuck happened? It was like a 3-minute span where I went from, man, he's fucked to, wait, he's innocent? What the fuck happened? It was nuts. It was nuts. Are we talking about Vampire the Masquerade? No, Castlevania. Vampire the Masquerade characters can say fuck all they want. Who gives a shit? Have you watched Supernatural? I watched more than I'm willing to admit. That's why I really like the Grimbeard series where he reviews all the episodes because, oh my god, that makes me feel old. Yeah. If there's a proper Berserk anime coming out, I want Darth Vader's voice actor to voice Skull Knight in English dub if he lives that long. James Earl Jones? I will not complain. I mean, he'd basically be Khal Dune from Conan, but that would be fucking dope. Oh, I will still forgive Castlevania its shortcomings based on its inclusion of the redhead vampire Dom Mommy GF. Yeah. The problem is, once again, they're starting to get to that point of like, how long are you going to keep stretching this? Because all you're going to do is end up, pushing yourself into a corner. As soon as I saw Kyle in the Goku drip jacket on Twitter, I knew he got the acquittal. Yeah, I was legit convinced he was fucked. I was convinced there's no way they're gonna burn him. They're gonna do something to him. Then you find out, nope, Kyle got away. He's innocent, not guilty. It's like, fuck yeah. Also, 90% of Western adult animation is comedy, and that does damage to the medium. Yeah. Didn't James Earl Jones hang himself? No, he's still alive. He still does stuff. I'm 95% certain the Netflix Bebop is the left's true retaliation for Kyle going free. Oh, God. Castlevania is one of my favorite animated shows on Netflix. I like the first 2 seasons. Everything after it feels like they're stretching too far and they're dipping too hard into being edgy. And it's like there comes a point where you understand there is a time and a place. One second. Oh yeah, someone pinged me about the X-Men 97 guy going protected because he freaked out about Rittenhouse so bad. He didn't get away with anything if I remember that. That is true. Yeah. Not guilty. I heard a juror named Samuel Hyde threaten them into acquitting. Yeah, there you go. Most Western animation is made in Korea. Even a lot of Japanese one, they outsource it to Korean studios. James Earl Jones basically got a free paycheck for redoing Mufasa's lines in the remake of Lion King. Yeah. I watched Castlevania Season 1 and was satisfied with its finale. Everything else was not necessary. Yeah, after Dracula died, there was just no point. Like, what can you do? What can you do? Have you thought about watching a movie or anime on stream, not streaming it for obvious copyright reasons, but announcing it a few days before so we can download? We are getting close to the 50K 24-hour Boruto stream, so, yeah. we're getting close, and I feel like after Part 3 comes out, we're going to be even closer. I think the only criticism of Season 3 that weirded me out was people screaming about Alucard's threesome. What are your thoughts about that? I thought it was stupid because Alucard was such a refined and prissy dude. Like, Trevor was the irresponsible playboy. Alucard was the guy that was basically like, we gotta get this shit done. We gotta get this shit done. I tend to agree with you about theoretically voicing the Beast of Darkness. Mike Patton would nail that, even if the rest would suck. Oh, yeah. Mike Patton would do an amazing Beast of Darkness. Because I never liked it. If you ever watch the, if you ever play the Berserk PS2 game or play Muso, or even watch the 2016 anime, they make the demon sound way too calm. Like he just sounds like a guy talking to guts, and I never liked that. I wanted it to sound very guttural and mean. I used the demon biker voice from Mandy for the Dawn of the Long, you know, where it's like that blood for blood, because that's how it's supposed to sound. He's a monster, you know. That's how I like it. Gals for president for $2. Netflix Bebop, you're going to carry that weight. Faye unironically says, I'm not going to carry that weight, in like a dramatic line. It's fucking, oh god. Giga Chad for $1. Some say the MCU is why shit sucks, but I think it harkens back to millennial writers whose parents both worked and were raised on Disney movies. Also, Watchmen HBO ruined Laurie Jupiter. She despised comedian. Why would she want to be anything like him? Yeah. I mean, she respected him as her father, but she still hated him. Mike Patton voiced the Darkness, and the Darkness game sounded great, and that's why I thought he'd do really good as Beast of Darkness. I would like to see it. Naruto of any kind, yuck. Yeah, well, that's the joke, where it's like, oh god. Blood for blood. Yeah, it's so great. I was really proud when I got that to sync up in the Dawn of the Long. I'm very happy about that. I'm happy about that. I thought the other seasons of Castlevania were alright. Soundtrack is pretty good. I do agree about Death swearing a lot. Swearing just doesn't work for some characters. Yeah. Oh, bet Hard Cash, the writers of Bebop don't know that reference is from the Beatles. They really don't. They don't. There was a lot of layers to Bebop. So much of it was references to other movies, references to music. It's crazy. Opinion on Legacy of Kain, it's really good. Really good. Genuine, like, you can literally just watch a supercut of all the cutscenes and you are invested. You are invested. Just hearing the dialogue and the story, it's fucking wild. At last I am free. Yeah, the Darkness too. Man, if that game... I'm really sad that game was only 4 hours, because holy shit, it was so good. Did you hear about Activision boss? Yeah. Wait, Activision or Blizzard? Because I heard about Kotick or Kotek or whatever his name is, Bobby. And yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of fucking trouble. Alright. That Dawn Along is a work of art. Thank you. Alright, full disclosure, we're probably not going to go much longer than another hour, because I need to get some sleep so I can get up tomorrow and then keep working on part 3. Because if I can get it out, if I can get to the progress I'm working on, I can get out by Monday. And by Monday, it'll be fucking great. Which Dark Souls game do you think is the best to play first? You have 1, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, kind of, and 2. It's kind of complicated. Depends on what you want. I think 3 fleshed out a lot of stuff. Some people also think 3 is really watered down. 2 has a lot of problems. People still debate on whether or not that one's actually any good. 1 is the classic one. Everyone loves 1. Demon Souls is kind of a different beast. So, but yeah, there's a lot of, yeah. It really depends on what you want. I think Marvel's making a Punisher movie. If they bring back John Bernthal, might be good. I'm okay with John Bernthal Punisher, but I want to see Thomas Jane come back. Thomas Jane, to me, is the definitive one. Bernthal did not do bad, but I have issues with it, and eventually I'm going to do a video about Netflix Punisher and kind of go over the issues I had, where Frank dipped too hard into being a soldier, and it drives me nuts when they do that. He's too militaristic. That sounds crazy, but I do have a reason for saying it. Where it's like, Frank is a soldier, but he's not like, oorah, fuck yeah. Like, it's an issue a lot of media has with depicting the military, and it's something I'm going to talk about. Devil May Cry Netflix adaptation is going to make Dante light DMC Dante, and everyone will cheer for it. Lady and Trish are going to develop a lesbian relationship with a sex scene. Well, for the latter, I will not complain, but yeah, if they make Dante edgy, that'll be stupid. They're definitely not going to get Ruben Langdon, because he's based as fuck. If you follow that man's Twitter, holy shit, that man is like a guru. Didn't you already do a Punisher video? Yeah, but it was back when I had no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I want to do one that's more put together. I want to do a new one. Was Thomas Jane the guy from Warzone? No, that was, God, I'm blanking on his name. I'm blanking on his name. He didn't do bad. I liked him. And I would actually like to see him do a new Punisher thing, too. I want him to get a new shot, because Warzone had problems. Yeah, he was legitimately good as Punisher. Netflix MCU review series. I might talk about it, yeah. Because I do want to talk about, like Daredevil Season 2's Punisher is possibly one of the best adaptations of the character. That was where I feel John Bernthal really played into the tropes right, where he wasn't necessarily completely a soldier, he was the Punisher. It's a new identity for the guy. The actual Punisher series focused too hard on talking about the military history. Tomboy Wreck for $1. I have no hope for Marvel's Punisher bringing John back. They totally neutered the Punisher. They took a bunch of shit from Ennis's run, but took away most of the bite. Frank isn't supposed to be a generic action man. He's supposed to be more like crazy. Yeah. And that's something I'm going to talk about. Where, like, Frank in Season 1, I feel like, had moments where he was the Punisher. Where it's like the hammer fight where he beats the shit out of the dudes and just kills them and throws them in the concrete pit. That was good. The end fight where they raid a Micro's compound and Frank just rips through them. That was great. There's moments I think were really good. But there were other moments where it was driving me nuts. Anything to do with Lewis was just embarrassing. Where they, like, I'm going to talk about it. Kind of like Warzone. Warzone is fun. It is fun. It is fun. It's just, it had problems. 2004 Punisher was a solid mafia revenge movie. Yeah, 2004 was great. That is one where I'm unironically like, that one was great. Because it was a Old West gunslinger going against the mafia. It was amazing. I loved it. One of my favorite movies from my childhood. After watching the CGI Resident Evil movies, I'm convinced you can only do Devil May Cry justice in that style, but I might be wrong. You can do Devil May Cry as anime. They did try one before. It wasn't amazing, but they did it. But CGI Devil May Cry would not be bad. Ray Stevenson was the Warzone Punisher. He did not do bad. Ray Stevenson as the Punisher himself, who's years into it, he's wearing the skull, he has got enough dead bodies to fill a cemetery. He did great. The popsicle torture scene was hilarious. And that's what I mean. Frank in the 2004 one called on his military skills as just stuff he knew. He wasn't constantly talking about how he was in the army or this and that. He didn't really talk about it at all. They mainly focused on him being part of the FBI, because that's why the mob killed his family. But whenever he would talk about shit, he would like reference stuff, when he was in the army. And it was great when he did, because it was just something he picked up on, and that was his skill set. Punisher throws a haymaker at a polar bear, then that polar bear went on a rampage. Yeah, that was the Marvel Knights run. That was fucking great. And ripped off all the mob chicks' limbs. Yeah. Do you think we'll get out of this millennial-written dark age of entertainment? Oh, absolutely. Everything tends to kind of come back to a balance point. It's just right now we're dipping into the bad one, where it's like, really, this is what we're stuck with? But there are really good movies coming out. You know, there's really good stuff that is out there. You just have to find it. And the Lord said, "Thou shalt know the time of Armageddon has come when the Boruto stream commences." Yeah. The same character designer from DMC's anime also did the 2D main character designs for Berserk 2016-17, probably because Shin Itagaki had a prior partnership with him. That makes sense. There was a lot that went wrong with that one. There was a lot that went wrong. Gunslinger for $5. Punisher is not a soldier. He's a vigilante, and he's mostly on a revenge mission against crime in general for what happened. Yeah. Like, he was a soldier, but, you know, that's my big stickling point. But the Netflix show focused too hard on it, where it was all about his military history and this and that, and they would always talk about, like, man, that was a United States Marine. It's like, no. Not Alfarius for $5. I want an adaptation of that comic where Punisher fought Eminem. There you go. I want to see him get into a rap battle. You know what I hate about the Netflix Marvel shows? They barely wear their signature costumes. It's like they're embarrassed to be the comic book shows. Even Punisher barely wore the skull vest. Yeah, compare that to Daredevil. He was always in a suit. It was fucking great. We're going to watch the Gintama movie coming out Sunday or Monday. I definitely plan to. Because I love Gintama. It's one of my favorites. It's fucking hilarious. Can we just read Bible verses instead of the Boruto stream? No. We will suffer together. Do we have to keep doing remakes of Resident Evil, or have Capcom wrote themselves into a corner? I don't know what they're doing. They were talking about doing a remake of 4, but that doesn't even make sense. They're still selling 4 right now, and you can play it, and it's still very modern. So thoughts on Rittenhouse trial? It is very, very good. That guy is out of it. Managed to get out of that, because every single thing about that was bullshit. Every single thing. And it was bad when media companies were specifically saying, "Yeah, don't research it on your own. Just listen to us. Just listen to us." Like. So fucking sleazy. So fucking sleazy. I got a commercial for the new Reno 911 today. Look at how they massacred my boy. Dude, just hearing that put a chill down my spine. Because Reno 911, when it was coming out, was fucking hilarious. It's like, man, I don't even want to think about what they did to that show. Giga Chad for $1. Another thing Netflix missed is that Frank resents the brass of the military. When given the option to join a team to hunt bin Laden, his response was, "Fuck you, I'm not fighting in a phony war over oil." Then killed the friend that tried to recruiting him. Yeah, that was the first arc of Punisher Max, because that was where he found out they're smuggling in heroin to pay for Black Ops. Yeah. What's your opinion of the guy who made Last of Us wanted to make a Punisher game? He wouldn't understand it. Because I'm assuming you're talking about Neil Druckmann. He wouldn't understand it. It's about more than the violence. Thoughts on Boardwalk Empire? Boardwalk Empire is fucking great. Fucking great. Great show. Yeah, because the way you control the people is by having an ignorant population who can't think for themselves without being told what to think. Yeah. Thoughts on High Guardian Spice and their nuanced and subtle talking points? Yeah. Well, that is the definition of a show made for man-children. Like, holy shit. All the people that keep talking about, like, man, animation could be mature, point to crap like Steven Universe, which is still blatantly made for children. It's like soft ukulele music and bright colors, and it's like, oh my god. Kyle had the entire media, Hollywood, and even president of the U.S. against him and still won. Yeah. Isn't the other Naughty Dog director making her own game at the moment? Yeah, she's doing something. A bunch of Naughty Dog vets followed her. I'm excited to see it. I think it's supposed to be some kind of superhero game, but I don't know. I'm excited to see it because she makes really good games. Seeing Tim Pool slowly go from a semi-mild-mannered liberal to a guy screaming that Joe Biden is a despot and should be in jail making 8 pro-Rittenhouse videos in a day. Well, he knows which way the wind is blowing. He knows which way will pay him. I wouldn't mind a remake of some of the spin-offs. Arkley Manor remake when? That would be cool. Adrian, for $2, regular shows for adults. Yeah. It definitely has some jokes that are just straight up like, huh. Plus, don't they have a spin-off show that is literally for adults? Like, one of the opening jokes is that dude's freaking out that he thinks he got his girlfriend pregnant or something. Like, it's full-blown a show for adults. I don't really watch it. You know, I don't watch a lot of that stuff anymore. $2 from the Gunslinger. I hate the war for oil lines. Cringe 20 years on. Yeah, and it wasn't even correct. It wasn't really for oil. It was just general destabilization, military-industrial complex shit. Hoseki no Kuni's manga seems to have gone off the rail. I have not picked up and has no idea what to do. Biden doubled down on calling Kyle a white supremacist after admitting he didn't follow the case or saw the video of the act. Yeah. Have you seen the GTA Definitive Edition, The Absolute State of Rockstar? Yeah. I had a feeling. Like, something about it. It's like, yeah, this is going to be shit. And it turns out, yeah, it was shit. William Benoit, $5. Hey, Lolly, just joined after finding out my older brother read Berserk and my mom bought a No Cat Boys t-shirt for the gym. Interesting day. Yeah. Most of media today is produced as either activism or blatant money laundering, or both. Very possible it's both. What happened to the Generation Kill video? That got nuked by Viacom. One of the other streams actually got nuked for it too, because remember the kitty history clip where you had Trevor Moore singing about conspiracy theories involving kittens? Yeah, that pissed off Viacom and they nuked it. So, it's still up on BitChute and it's still up on Odyssey, but on YouTube, yeah. I've heard you talk about The Boys and Garth Ennis. I'm curious about your thoughts on both the comic and show of Preacher. I really like Preacher, but the show really started... It did the exact same thing The Boys did. It started changing shit from the comic, and then from there it had to change more shit, and then more shit, and then more shit, and by the end it wasn't even the same fucking thing. I don't get the white supremacy claim, like Rittenhouse is white and the people that attacked him were white. How is race an issue? Because they need something to slam him with. They don't care what the facts are. They don't care that Rittenhouse shot all white people. They don't care that he's half Hispanic. They have to label him the worst thing they can think of. And it's funny because one of the people he shot is a pedophile. It's amazing. It really is. The absolute state of discourse. I'm not one of those where it's like, man, we all need to sit down and have a conversation. Because frankly, it's been long enough. Enough years have passed. How many times do people keep guys say, well, I just want to talk before you get the message? They're not interested in talking. They're interested on duct taping your mouth shut so they get to talk. They want to control the conversation. You don't get to. They had phone game devs develop the remasters. Holy shit. That explains so much. That explains a lot, not even gonna lie. I chatted with my friend about the Kyle case. He deadass didn't know he was on the ground before he fired his first shot. I love my boy, but God help him. Yeah, well, that goes to show. He wasn't paying attention. He wasn't looking into it. He wasn't interested in looking into it. It's like, there comes a point where you understand, hey, you kind of need to look at this shit. A lot of people are offended he killed one of their own, a diddler. Yeah, that would have, yeah. Prove me wrong. You know, prove him wrong. Okay. They actually use code from the mobile ports rather than the original. That explains a lot. You have alt accounts, right? Yeah, I have stuff on like Odyssey and BitChute. The only actual alt accounts I have on YouTube are Couch Potato stuff, which I have not updated in a long ass time. Because the streams usually end up being so long that I can't download them. I would have to literally record them as they're downloading, which just eats up hard drive space like a motherfucker. I have to find a way around that, you know? Amy Hennig is making a Marvel game. See, I am actually okay with that because she can do it well. She understands what she's doing. I trust her with a Marvel game more than than Square Enix. You know what I mean? Did you hear Anthony Huber's girlfriend gave Kyle her phone number to talk? I still don't know whether or not that's actually real or if that's a meme. If it's real, holy shit, that's incredible. You kill a man, then take his girlfriend. It's like, yeah. That is ultimate Sigma grind set shit. Because, yeah, I mean, Anthony was a piece of shit. You know, he was a fucking asshole. She is better off now that that dude's dead. Rent a server. Yeah, I can do that. I can look into getting a website or something. But it would have to be one of those where the cost would have to balance out. I don't want to make a commitment only to not use it. You know what I mean? They'll have to believe minors are mature enough to make adult decisions until they decide to defend themselves. Exactly. They don't think about what they're saying. They don't think about what they're saying. Like, they were literally all for banning Dr. Seuss and George Orwell and all these books from the library. And the minute people were banning like porno books from kids schools, because hey, it's not appropriate to show 5-year-olds a picture of a dude sucking another dude's dick, they were freaking out and screaming, "Hey! The right is burning books again. They're burning books again. It's Nazi Germany all over again." It's like, you people were literally burning books up in Canada. What the fuck are you talking about? Tofu for $2. Did you see that trainee wanted you to respect and comply to their movement? I don't know who you're talking about, but no. Fuck that. I will say the Rittenhouse trial gave us a great meme where the witnesses admitted Kyle only fired after he pointed a gun at him and the prosecutor face-palmed. Yeah. Henning also did most, if not all, of the Kane series, right? Yeah, she did pretty much all of them, I think. Antifa's getting arrested in Denver. There you go. If this ends up being like the first step that topples the whole Antifa empire, I guess you could say, that'd be hilarious. Seuss was literally a liberal. He wrote books specifically saying bigotry and racism were bad. Just start holding the left to their own standards, they'll change their tune very quickly. That's the thing. They'll just start freaking out and accuse you of being the exact thing they were afraid of. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand that they're literally engaging in fascistic, oppressive behavior, and the minute they detect any sign of it from their enemies, they freak out because it confirms their own fears. It confirms, like, see, I told you. Like, they don't understand. They're doing the exact same shit. Not only are they doing the exact same shit, they're pushing their enemies to act like them. Amy Henning is also an actually sane feminist, so we'll get likable, strong female characters. She's just good at her job, you know? She's just good at her job, so we're bound to get good shit. What's up with the court case and the guy getting shot? Yeah, so the Kyle Rittenhouse case where you had the kid in Kenosha who shot the rioters. Yeah, he was found not guilty of all charges, and he was allowed to go free. Because it turns out, yeah, you're allowed to defend yourself against violent convicts. And I don't give a shit what anyone says of Kyle didn't know. They were violent convicts. Who cares? Hassan be like, yeah. Did you guys see the thing recently where Hassan is opening a merch line trying to donate to charity? And if you read the fine print, it's literally a portion of it will go to charity. Like, so even though he could have easily just donated himself and be like, yeah, I'm going to do this big thing because it's the holidays, I want to donate to charity. He opened a merch line where he gets some of that, he gets a vast majority of that money, and then the rest, what's left, go to charity. It's like, it's a fucking scam, and his fans keep falling for it. Like, literally, his fan base is a bunch of teenage girls that admit to liking him because he's handsome. They don't give a shit what he's saying. Like, it is a bad fucking joke. What are we talking about, seriously? Well, it was the Rittenhouse thing and then the responses to it. I don't know if you paid attention to the Rittenhouse thing. BLM fell from grace as soon as it started getting funding from certain people. Dude, it started off being funded by those people. Like, it started off being funded by those people. Like, no, it was absolutely astroturfed. Anyone that says they're pro-BLM, you are literally pro-big corporate. You are pro-big corporate creating riots that fuck people up. Have you seen the video where Hassan called Kyle a pig but didn't even watch the video? Yeah, he openly admitted he watched nothing about the trial and would still get angry and comment about the trial. Like, shut the fuck up. You're an idiot. BLM preaches Marxism, yet the leader lives in a mansion. All of them do. They were investigated for tax fraud. Like, it's all a fucking joke. These people think you are stupid. Stop supporting them. Stop being like, well, I'm pro-BLM. No, you're not. BLM means give me money that's supposed to go to the ghetto so I can buy a mansion. They fucking hate you. Legit lost but low respect I had for H3 when he got Hassan on his podcast. Exactly. Well, they're one and the same. Birds of a feather fly together. A bunch of wannabe LARPing socialists that are multimillionaires. You know, same thing with Boogie when he tried to claim he was a socialist. Like, no, you're fucking not. I saw the Rittenhouse headline on Yahoo News. Didn't actually read what it was about. Yeah. How much do you know? Do you know all of it, or are you just curious about the verdict? Because the verdict is not guilty on all charges. You know, no murder, no possession of a weapon, no curfew. He was completely innocent. The actual context was Kyle was a kid who lived in Antioch, Illinois, who went to Kenosha because his dad would live there, and he was trying to clean up after the riots. That day, he was asked if he could protect a business that night because a bunch of rioters were going to come back, and he was with a group of guys that were armed. He got separated from his group, and a bunch of Antifa dudes started fucking with him. So he ended up having to kill 2 of them and wounded a 3rd. That turned into, he was a murderer, he's a mass shooter, blah, blah, blah. Complete media hysteria. Turns out all of that was bullshit. It is on video. Kyle didn't do anything wrong. He literally had to do what he had to do, otherwise he would die. I mean, it is blatantly obvious it was not what people were telling you it was. Now, I'm not saying you were told anything about it. I'm just saying, like, the media around it was so blatantly dishonest. I can't say the N-word in this chat. Just spell it out. YouTube nukes it immediately. Like, try to put spaces or something. Antioch equals holy hand grenade, yeah. Antioch is also 20 minutes or less away from Kenosha. I heard it was like 15 minutes at most. It was really right next door to each other. The lackeys that don't believe in anything are just anti-American. Literally, they don't care about anything. They don't care about police brutality. They don't care about justice. All they give a shit about is hurting people. You know, that's all they care. Kyle's only guilty of making good comedies and ruining Binger's career. Yeah. There you go. Jimmy James got it. But seriously, it was a thing where there was so much blatant dishonesty with it. How can you take any fucking YouTuber that was talking like that feigns outrage of like, well, of course the white supremacist judicial system. How do you take any of these people seriously after this? Where not only were they wrong, they were blatantly lying to you. They were lying to you. They were willfully dishonest about what exactly happened. Like, they hid the fact that Kyle was attacked. They hid the fact that Rosenbaum had a history of violence, was a sex offender, and was mentally unstable. They hid the fact Grosskreutz aimed his gun at Kyle before he got shot. They hid the fact that Huber hit Anthony... Well, not hit... Anthony Huber hit Kyle with his skateboard, intending on killing him before he got shot. Like, they hid everything. They showed drone footage of Rosenbaum attacking Kyle first before he was shot. Yeah, and they tried to doctor it and say that Kyle pointed his weapon. They were so desperate to say Kyle provoked it, but he didn't. Because they're trying to claim, well, you were walking around with an assault weapon. That's provocation. It's called a deterrent. Don't fuck with me. By that logic, you can't have armed guards anywhere because they're provoking people. Heard Grossman killed himself after hitting Kyle won. I would be happy if he did. Fuck that asshole. Anybody remember when the government threatened to punish store owners for protecting their property from BLM terrorists? Exactly, and that's the problem. Why are they allowed to burn down everyone's business? Why are they allowed to set shit on fire, attack people, do all these horrible things but people can't go against them. Why do you have to depend on the police who are told time and time again to stand down? They're not allowed to get involved. Like, it literally came down to, well, why didn't you get to the police? A, the police stood down for the night. They actively couldn't get involved. And B, he was trying to get to the police. He was a block away. You can see the police line when they knocked him down and tried to kill him. Like, it is... There's dishonesty, and then there's outright they think you're stupid. Giga Chad for $1. The same shit happening today happened in the 60s. Marxist groups founded by the KGB incited riots in order to lower American morale and to kickstart a civil war. My bets is that China is tied to this autism. Oh, no doubt. I have no doubt. Because remember, wasn't there like... There was a document that came out literally saying there were like 2 million some odd Chinese spies all around the Western world. Kyle was also attacked by 5 people. The 2 that decided to disengage didn't get shot. Exactly. Jump Kick Man's not dead. Zeminski is not dead. Hell, Gage isn't dead, but, he's missing half his arm. If he died, the people who killed Kyle would have gotten away with it. Exactly. They would never have been arrested. Nothing would have happened to him. It would have been a quiet, oh, well, maybe we arrested one type deal. It's like whenever they talk about the little girl that died, the one that got shot in Georgia. Her family was trying to cross a riot line, and they just opened fire on the car. Like, they made a big deal of like, well, at least the people involved with that were arrested, but it was missing the point of, you fucking asshole, you irresponsible douchebags do this shit all the time. You bitch and moan about police brutality and everyone thinking you're violent thugs and all this and being profiled, and then you go and act like violent thugs. Like, if you want people to stop treating you with aggression, stop meeting them with aggression. Because literally, like, how are people supposed to take the whole, like, we don't care about, we don't care for violence, they don't represent us shit seriously, when Kyle was attacked by 4 different violent convicts in one area alone. Gage Grosskreutz, convicted burglar. Rosenbaum, convicted pedophile. Anthony Huber, convicted domestic abuser. Jump Kick Man, convicted wife beater. All 4 were criminals in one area. Bruh, David Dorn was killed and they completely glossed over that. Exactly. They pick and choose what case to exploit. They will cry and bitch and moan about how Jacob Blake got shot, a guy who was literally trying to kidnap his girlfriend's kids after he raped her. Meanwhile, they say nothing about David Dorn, a guy that was literally killed protecting his property. Not even his property, it was his buddies. It was a pawn shop he worked for. Like, literally shot and bled to death on the street, and no one talks about him. One very manipulative quote I heard was, all lives can't matter until black lives do. Exactly. Like, it is the most self-centered bullshit, and all it's done is teach an entire generation of black people that they're the only ones that matter. That you're perfect, nothing you ever do is ever your fault, it's always someone else's. And it turned people into these absolute two-dimensional bigots that literally believe they need to kill all white people in order for the world to become justified. It is insane. It is beyond stupidity. My theory is it won't stop the Antifa empire, might cause an anti-Antifa group to rise up. That's possible. Technically, that was the Proud Boys, then that got infiltrated by feds out the ass. And they seriously believe they wouldn't have killed him. Exactly. Like, the people that always are anti-Kyle say the same shit. It's like, well, how would he know? How would he know? What was he doing there? What was he doing there? They demand the absolute moral perfection for Kyle. Meanwhile, they ignore the convicted pedophile. No. It doesn't matter that these were men with histories of violence and were literally arrested for it. That doesn't matter. You know what I mean? To be fair, Biden droned a bunch of kids in Afghanistan, so he's about on the same level. Oh, exactly. Biden is a piece of shit. Like, all these people are pieces of shit. Don't you love how backwards everything has become? I hate living in Escape from New York. Yeah. I wish we had anti-Antifa. Well, just tell these people to fuck off. They're a bunch of anemic, fucking cuckold assholes. Like, they rely on strength in numbers and doing underhanded tactics because that's the only way they can appear strong. Like, actual real life shit, they get fucked up. You saw that with the dude that shot the Trump guy in Portland. He ran straight to Vice News and was trying to explain everything. Where it's like, well, no, you guys don't understand my side of the story. You don't understand my side of the story. Got cornered by the U.S. Marshals and gunned down like a motherfucker. They shot him like a fucking dog because he was a piece of shit. Like, it comes to a point where you understand reality is not exactly as kind as you think it is. Nora Vanguard for $1. I got into an argument with one of my managers today about CRT. She was trying to pull the, well, you don't know what it is, or it's only taught in college, so I just flat out told her she was wrong and it's taught, and those people will always pull this crap and lie. Well, yeah. That they will always feign ignorance, and when they feign ignorance, they will at the same time claim you're not an expert. It's like, well, I don't know what that is, plus you don't know what you're talking about, you're not the expert. Like, it's absolute cognitive dissonance. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Also, Kyle's gun didn't go across state lines. He did, but his gun was always in Kenosha. Exactly. It was provided by the group he was with. It never left Kenosha. Not only did it not leave Wisconsin, it never left Kenosha. One good thing is that with the mainstream media coverage losing out massively to even Rekida's live stream, people are realizing media can't be trusted. Yeah, you literally had people on Twitter going, wait a minute, Kyle didn't shoot black people? They never looked into it themselves. They trusted what the assholes in suits said, and the assholes in suits blatantly lied about it. They blatantly lied and said Kyle was a racist who attacked black people. Like, it's fucking insane what they're allowed to get away with. I mean, that's not just, well, it's he at the moment, detail, we didn't know. You lied. The Portland thing you described made me smile. He got what he deserved. Yep, he got fucking torn to pieces. It was great. Because what did he do? He shot a motherfucker in front of his home for a red hat. Someone said best, they are opportunists embracing anarchy where they think it would not face consequences. Exactly. Like, they're a bunch of college kids with nothing better to do, and they don't understand that causes real harm to people. They're either college kids, drug addicts, or sex offenders. That is the makeup of Antifa. And they claim up and down, well, why don't you agree with us? What are you, a fascist? Are you a racist? No, I'm not a fucking thug. You know, I'm not an asshole that needs to beat an old woman to feel like I have a big dick. Man, if only there was a crime for that. You know, we can call it libel and slander. Yeah. Getting gunned down was too merciful. Yeah, but, you know, I still like the fact that was his last days, freaking out, thinking, well, wait a minute, no. You know, because that was exactly what happened. He was freaking out, thinking, oh, God, I fucked up. He ran to Vice News trying to explain everything. Then he got cornered. Then he got gunned the fuck down. It was great. The funniest thing was my dad saying, why does he need a big gun there? Like, bro, only believe what the media said. Here's the thing. He needed that gun because it was a riot. It was a deterrent. It's supposed to be big and scary. The whole idea of, well, you don't need a rifle. You know, Gage only had a pistol. A gun is a gun. A pistol can take your fucking head off. Like, it is blatantly obvious people that don't know shit about guns are talking about guns. We have that serious problem now where everyone wants to act like an expert without even a basic understanding of the subject they're talking about. And the thing is, you're allowed to talk about whatever you want. Just admit when you're wrong when you're wrong. First Amendment only applies to the left-wing journalists. Literally, everyone else they'll bully off. They'll sue you, they'll gun after you, they'll harass you, they'll dox you. They'll do whatever you can to make you shut up. And when you call them out for it, they'll be like, well, you know, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences. Meanwhile, they deal with even the slightest inch of the same thing, they freak out and start screaming about oppression. Yeah, if you're at a riot where police are scattered and may not get to you, a gun is needed. Literally, like, you do not think about other people. That's what drove me nuts. The whole, like, well, why didn't you help Rosenbaum after you shot him? Because why the fuck would he? Why the fuck would he? He just tried to kill him and he's surrounded by hostiles. Why the fuck would he? What's the name of the guy that got gunned down in Portland? Never heard that case. It was the one in Portland where the guy ran to Vice and did the interview right before he got killed by the marshals. I can't remember his name. Check the politics channel. No, I saw it. Yeah, they're talking about the Like, David Dorn was killed because he didn't have a gun on him. Meanwhile, Kyle did, and one of them's still alive. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is so blatantly obvious that people don't know what they're talking about anymore. Didn't Hassan say he won the jury's docs? Exactly. Like, he is a piece of shit advocating for horrible things, but because he's a rich, pretty boy, people forgive him. They just forgive him. They listen to what he has to say. It's like, these people are fucking stupid. They're fucking stupid, and they're advocating for really fucked up shit, and everyone just ignores them. The only benefit from the Ferguson-Floyd riots and the Rittenhouse trials is the base take that Second Amendment is ahead of time and why we need more than ever. Yeah. The guy who killed the guy with the MAGA hat stood and waited for him, if I recall correctly. No, yeah, he was literally waiting to ambush him. They were setting up an ambush. I'm not even kidding. Basically, during the riots, it's like Iraq, where anyone is an insurgent who can kill you at any moment. Keep moving and stay alive. Don't worry what anyone thinks. Exactly. Exactly. And after the verdict at the courthouse, they let Jacob's Blake family speak on it when it had no relevance. Yeah, even though Jacob Blake was a piece of shit who admitted he was trying to kill the cops, admitted he was trying to steal his girlfriend's van, like, why do you keep holding these people up on a pedestal? They do horrific things, and they're held up on a pedestal. Like, Jacob Blake was a rapist. He was trying to kidnap children. And people hold him up as a fucking martyr because he's black, because they're under the delusion that our law enforcement literally goes out and genocides black people like a fucking death squad. Like, holy shit. Touch grass. Touch grass, you fucking retards. I'm so fucking sick to death of hearing the Dylan roof shooter was taken in alive. Meanwhile, this black guy in an unrelated case was killed. Maybe because he was a repeat offender who swung for the cops. Maybe there comes a point where you act like a fucking grown-up and you understand that maybe, just that little inch of a possibility, actions have fucking consequences. There's absolutely police brutality, and there's cops that fuck up and do horrible things. BLM rioting and setting shit on fire only makes it substantially worse. All they have done was make things so much worse. BLM is fucking stupid. Antifa is fucking stupid. They have made the world so horrible with their presence. Why didn't Rittenhouse help them like the people who attacked Rittenhouse would have helped him? Exactly. Gage would have shot him in the head and left him to die. He openly admitted that's what he was going to do. Even though Gage was the medic. He was the paramedic. Where the fuck was his ambulance? Where the fuck was his medical supplies? All I saw with him was his gun. Guess it was a bad idea removing the act that prevents the media to create and spread propaganda. Yeah, you can thank Obama for that one. They were engaging in it for a while, but at least, there was the delusion of objectivity. I hate Destiny, but man, it felt good seeing him drill Vosh over the Rittenhouse incident, because Destiny knows what's coming. He knows he's next. He's not as crazy as Vosh or Hassan, so he's next to be fucked over. That beast everyone kept warning him was going to be created has come for him, and now he's realizing too late. Those guys Cal stopped were trying to set a gas station on fire with a flaming dumpster. Literally, they were trying to blow up a gas station. Like, that would have taken out a fucking city block. Kyle unironically saved more lives getting involved in stopping that shit. Like, holy shit, these people are stupid. BLM even tweeted on that the system allowed white supremacy to reign while ignoring the whole self-defense, ignoring the fact everyone Kyle shot were white. They were white and violent convicts. You would think they'd be disavowing and saying, hey, wait a minute, we didn't, we don't support these guys. They weren't part of us. Every single time people complain about BLM setting shit on fire, acting violent, they blame it on right-wing instigators. They blame it on outside influence. This specific case where it was blatantly violent convicts, blatantly people that had histories of violence and were there to cause trouble and to cause violence, they doubled down on defending them. They doubled down on saying they were heroes and victims and Kyle should have went to prison. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Did you hear they tried to talk down Kyle, saying he would have fist fought then because Gage was a manlet, Kyle was intimidating? Yeah, it's idiotic. Gage was a bipolar schizophrenic that didn't take his medication. He had a history of violence. He was literally in prison for raping children. And they're trying to say he wasn't a threat. It is a fucking bad joke. People need to realize that no matter how good you are still be canceled. There's no good enough. Exactly. There's no such thing as good enough. People will gun after you for something. If I remember, Destiny's family's business was destroyed during the riots. Maybe that's what pissed him off, but all I can say is it took you too late to learn that fucking lesson. The black guy in Atlanta who was caught sleeping in Wendy's drive-thru and the police was called to check on him, saw he was drunk, and tried to arrest him, and the guy fought back trying to steal the cop's gun. Yeah, every single time. Every single time. Just got here. It upset me seeing all the people mocking Kyle's panic attack. Yeah, they were literally making fun of a 17-year-old kid for having a PTSD episode. For fuck's sake, Boogie was making fun of Kyle for having a PTSD episode right after. Like, Boogie's the kind of guy that will literally threaten suicide if he sees he lost a single subscriber. Meanwhile, he's making fun of fucking Kyle Rittenhouse for literally flashing back to when he had to kill men. And it's like, fuck you, you piece of shit. It's like, fuck you. Fuck you. Canceled just like Harvey Weinstein. Well, Harvey deserved it. Harvey was a piece of shit. Church of the Woken God, yeah. Yeah, SCP guys. Apparently some of the top admins of like the SCP site got caught for pedophilia, which was not surprising. Every single time these people go woke, it's always the exact same result. And these same people would preach about mental health. Exactly, like it's blatant hypocrisy. I care about mental health. Haha, this kid had a PTSD episode. I'm so empathetic. I love people. How dare you be upset that these riots are happening? It's just property. Why do you care so much? They have insurance. You know? It's like, you know, I care about all human life. Well, that kid should let himself be beaten to death by a bunch of pedophiles and convicts. Like, holy fucking shit. There's double standards, then there's outright, you're a bunch of fucking phonies. You are a bunch of fucking phony whores. Did LeBron retract his tweet about Kyle? No. And I'm still happy people rip into him for the China shit, where it's like, remember how you literally have slave labor making your shoes, you fucking asshole? I think what kills me with them memeing his PTSD is how they pull that shit out, pull that shit of it's a serious thing only when they want sympathy points. Literally, like, it's one thing if it's Poll doing it, where they do the edit where it's Kyle edited to be like Nikocado Avocado, where he has the food in front of him. Like, that's at least something where they don't give a shit and they think it's funny. It's another when you have, like, far left fucking people on Twitter doing the exact same thing and going, haha, he's so fake, he's so fake. It's like, fuck you. Fuck you. You're horrible human beings, every single one of you. Like, fuck you. Joy Reid compared Kyle to a slave catcher. Exactly. They're allowed to say whatever they want. Whatever they want, they're allowed to say. And they do not understand they're the bad guys. They do not acknowledge they're horrible human beings. Tink for $7.91. I cried watching the verdict being read out. Kyle had to go through so much shit. Now watch Das Boot, you fuck. I have watched Das Boot. It's fucking amazing. It's a great... Me and my dad watched that. It was great. Because he loves that movie and he wanted to show it to me. It was great. Jorge Hernandez for $2. He said nothing. But I like the smiley face. Libs be mocking Kyle's PTSD attack, then go take a bath with a toaster when someone doesn't call them a they, them. Yeah. Remember when LeBron said the cop that killed the girl with a knife in her hand, you're next? Yeah, even though he literally saved that girl's life. He saved the girl that she was attacking's life. Like, these people are not thinking in any way, shape, or form. All they think about is the next thing to be upset about, the next tragedy to exploit. They don't care. It's a mob. It is a literal mob. They're going to burn their witch, and they don't care if it's a mom holding a baby. You know what I mean? They will rape a nun in order to serve the will of God. Real PTSD comes from being an Attack on Titan meme. Yeah, I saw that. That's a bad joke. Vosh is upset. Well, of course he's upset. A pedophile died. It's okay. I prefer it to be pronounced George. Sorry. I took high school Spanish, so it's ingrained in me. So George Hernandez. There you go. That's why I hope Rittenhouse sues all the people, even Biden. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I hope he makes Sandman look like a peasant. I hope he gets so much money from this. What are your thoughts about the Netflix Cowboy Bebop adaptation? Oh, not positive. Very much not positive. Oh, it looks so bad. They want to abolish the police, abolish prison, and want to strip you of your guns. They want Americans to be run by thugs. Literally. You are supposed to be dependent on the police to help you. Even though the police won't help you. Esagawa for $1, he said nothing. Is the new talking point self-defense is violence? Should the left tell blacks not to fight back against cops? They can't keep a consistent narrative because they don't care. It's whatever in the moment. Whatever makes me win in the moment. You know what I mean? Thoughts on Destiny giving up on his principles? To my knowledge, he's starting to get a little less crazy with the leftist shit because he's realizing it's kind of a beast he can't control. I don't watch Destiny, so I don't know anything about that. I'm not gonna watch far left channels simply because I don't agree with that shit and I think they're fucking stupid. Like, you know, I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna pretend I'm not biased. Have you listened to Beast in Black and their album full of Berserk theme songs? Oh yes, I have used Beast in Black multiple times. I've used Zod the Immortal, and I plan on using Beast in Black in like part 4 for very, very clear reasons. If anyone knows how Millennium of the Falcon War plays out, you know what I'm using it for. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fucking great. And I have to talk about why it's kind of a weird decision and it's split people down the middle. Part 4 is gonna be a lot of fun, but that's gonna come way later. Because I plain got to catch up on other shit, and I want to do other shit. Destiny was against NFT, then promoted an NFT 2 days later. He said he was going to be banned and doesn't care. Isn't NFT an actual scam? Like, holy shit, it's an actual fucking scam. The writer of Berserk died? Yeah, Kentaro Miura, yeah. Broke my fucking heart. How the heck can you be anti-police and anti-gun? Like, I get if you want to abolish police and was pro-gun local enforcement, but they're not. Yeah, because they don't understand. Tink for $3.96. Oh, base, now do a video. I might. Thing is, I'm always paranoid about doing movies, like actual movies, because copyright really likes to bitch out when you do. Like fucking Devil's Rejects, that got nuked because Lionsgate, they do not like people talking about that. These people don't care about doing good. It's just a game they have to win. Literally, they admit to it. They just watch stuff from Atun Shea Films or whatever his name is, but then he went off the lib deep end. Thoughts on the creator? I have no idea. I've never heard of him. NFTs aren't scams. They're just wastes of money. If I remember right, I heard like almost immediately after they became popular, they turned into like a money laundering thing. Thoughts on how Spider-Man new movie is not going to make sense? I don't really care about. It doesn't have to be 100% scientifically accurate. It just has to be fun and not be so stupid that I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, superhero, like, it's a kind of an issue a lot of people have where you have to understand the exact vibe and style of what you're dealing with, and that there's rooms of suspension of disbelief and magical realism you can get away with. Like, Gunslinger for $2. If people continue to cope over Berserk's ending, it's possible. Because, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. They haven't announced a fucking thing, and it's been months. But yeah, in regards to, like, suspension and disbelief and shit like that, a cheesy 80s slasher movie where it's very self-aware, it's very to the point and formulaic. I mean, the plot not making sense. I don't care for the science. Well, I mean, it's going to be the same, kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? It's going to be Hey, Spider-Man, you're Spider-Man. Oh, yeah, Spider-Man, I am Spider-Man. That kind of thing. It's going to be pretty blatant about what it is. The One True Magical for $5. I hope Kyle bends MSNBC, CNN, and NYT over. This kind of intimidation should have stopped with a whole solo. It will stop when it costs them more money to lie. Yeah. So is this the case where the key witness confirmed it was self-defense? I saw a YouTube video about it. Yeah. Gage Grosskreutz literally admitted it was self-defense. He admitted he pointed a gun at Kyle's head. NFTs are a pretty cool concept and has huge potential for things like domain names, but the art implementation thing is an absolute scam. Okay. Thoughts on the RPG the original founders of Bethesda are making? I haven't heard anything about that, but hopefully it's interesting. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of their games being tech demos that you literally have to rely on fucking modders to fix. How about a Spider-Man movie that goes off the deep end with giant skyscrapers and surreal stuff, but the twist was a mixture of sight gas and hypnosis by Mysterio? That was kind of far from home. Not far from home. Long Way Home, or the one he went to Europe, the vacation one. That was kind of that one. I bet a liberal on Facebook Rittenhouse would win. He still hasn't paid me. Think I'm ever going to see that money? No. That's the reason I hate Endgame, the time travel, and it made me think about it. Therefore, it didn't make sense. It called too much attention. Yeah, because, I mean, suspension of disbelief can go a long way, especially when it's inherently a goofy concept. You know, you don't think about the logic of a comedy because they're not really meant to. Unless there's something that absolutely breaks the story and just does not make sense. Where it's like, hey, that's outright a plot hole. But very rarely does it really do that. Superhero movies also have that logic of, if you 100% dictate the logic of a superhero movie, you can end up fucking yourself over because they're not meant to be that. Zeke IL for $1. Thoughts on the Israel-Palestine conflict? I don't like either side, but Palestine is currently ran by a government that wants a second Holocaust, so the Jews may be the lesser of two evils. I genuinely don't give a shit. It's not my country. I'm not involved. And every single time we get involved lately, things go bad. It's crazy the jury were followed and nearly doxxed. Yeah, by MSNBC. And I guarantee that's probably what swung the jury. For a long time, the rumor was the jury was afraid of the riots, of retaliation. So they're like, well, you know, we have to be careful. We have to be careful. And I feel like after they found out MSNBC was trying to follow them and literally dox them, they went, fuck it, you know? Like, damned if we do, damned if we don't, fuck it. Jesus for $1. What's up, Lolly? Glad that Kyle got off scot-free and on International Men's Day, no less. Now we wait for Chris Chan's trial. Prepare for the dimensional merge. He got another continuance, so we have no idea when the next one is. Just keep continuity. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. Like, you know, all you have to do is stick to a rule set that you establish and never break your own rules. Then you can get away with anything. If you're the one that set the rules, you're able to get away with a lot more. You know, it's why in Spider-Man can jump from, you know, building to building without ripping out his shoulder or something like that. Like, so long as you're consistent to your own logic, you can literally do whatever you want. But that was kind of the problem with Marvel now, where it's starting to dip a little too hard into trying to be too big. And if you're too big, the death by a million cuts comes in, where it's like, really? Like, Black Panther was supposed to be this new, you know, Wakanda was like this technological utopia, but they still had dirt roads. Kind of one of those things where it's like, really? Why can't it be like a super advanced fucking city? Like, almost a Blade Runner style cyberpunk, and it's hidden in the middle of buttfuck Africa. That'd be way more impressive. But they still wanted to keep the Africa vibe. You know, they wanted to have it both ways. So, did you hear about the 8 people that died at Astroworld? Was that the Travis Scott concert? Because that's one of those where I'm weirded out of, like, I went to metal shows where people are literally cracking their skulls open in mosh pits, and somehow those are more safe than a Travis Scott concert. I have a feeling Kyle will probably get sued in civil court, but at least he'll be free. They can try and sue him, but guess what? That not guilty verdict literally means he was justified in what he did. So if they want to sue him for reckless endangerment or attempted this or that, what have you, he can go after him. GoFundMe ban Kyle Rittenhouse fundraiser. Yeah, and isn't that interesting? Of like every major media company and crowdfunding company can literally rally together to prevent a single person from using any of their services, and nobody questions why that's a bad idea. Wakanda Advanced Cyberpunk world still uses spears. Literally, like it's one of those things of you're dipping too hard into it. People say it was something about 5G and in that Say So concert. Well, I mean, I'm just assuming they were probably drunk or on drugs and they fell down, you know? They barely showed Wakanda in the movie, then I never got a sense of their culture or people, yet there's this weird underlying anti-border theme. Yeah. Travis Scott encourages the bad behavior. Well, it's a concert, you know? You're supposed to get wild, you're supposed to get crazy. It's just, it was bad shit that happened. You know, I'm not gonna blame anybody. I mean, if he knew people were injured and dying in the crowd, that's one thing. But if he's just like, yeah, let's get crazy, you know, that type of thing. Every concert does that. How small government are you for? I'm of the belief that like states are about as big as you need to go. Anything else, it's too big. You're running into a problem. States already have issues where you can have corrupt assholes. My wife got body slammed by the second vocalist of Born of Osiris trying to stage dive a couple weeks ago. No concussion, she good. That's what I mean, you know, it's a concert. It's supposed to be wild. Travis Scott saw people died and kept singing. Yeah, see, that's shitty. That's where you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. You know, that's the moment where shit changes. Yeah, it's kind of suspicious. No riots happened yet in Kenosha. Makes me feel something bigger is being planned. Well, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it for multiple reasons. A, all the people Kyle shot were white, meaning there's no reason to get BLM pissed off. I mean, that and a bunch of the ringleaders got arrested in Kenosha when they tried to start shit. B, it's cold out. People don't riot when it's cold. And C, do you really want to simp for the dead pedophile? Right after the court case where a guy shot him and was allowed to walk out? Just saying. Giga Chad for $1. Lolly, I know you don't like Damian Wayne, and that's cool. Curious if it's because the animated films are injustice. Because Damian's a lot better in the comics by Grant Morrison. When he's paired up with Dick Grayson Batman, seeing them bond is kind of touching. It is a mix of injustice and the animated shit. Plus, when he started, he was kind of an emo faggot. It was kind of a bad first impression. You know what I mean? The show was over capacity. People were also rushing the gate. Plus, Travis was still performing on ambulance, trying to get somebody. Yeah, that is the point. Like, the overcapacity and people were rushing, like that's just concert shit. People get wild during concerts. I'm not gonna pretend people don't get crazy and stupid. And the problem was after they saw people were dead and there was a problem and holy fuck, this is an issue. The fact he kept going on with the show, that right there is the issue I have. BLM, I fear no man, but that thing sees it's 40 degrees out. That scares me. Yeah. All I'm saying is Cal's already 3-0. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Do you really want to riot in rural Wisconsin, which was just told, yeah, if people riot, you can shoot them because fuck them. You know, who gives a shit? They're a bunch of criminals and they'll probably attack you first and try to cry victim about it. Like, yeah, don't try to intimidate people. You know, they spent an entire year burning shit down, shooting people, and doing horrific things, and they're genuinely shocked there were consequences for it. They're genuinely surprised people didn't buy the fiery but mostly peaceful. Like, what the fuck were you expecting? Alright. So it's midnight here, and I'm going to go to bed, because if I can get up early tomorrow, I'm going to be able to spend the entire day just editing. and I'll be able to get part 3 out by Monday. It'll be great. Alien F here, $5. Thoughts on Huber, skateboard dude's girlfriend allegedly passing Kyle her phone number. I don't know if that's actually real, but if it is, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Do you think we'll see more people standing up to rioting after this case is won? Well, it is won, but yeah, I am hoping. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do. And like I said, if I can go as far as I want, where the goal at the moment is at least 20 minutes done by tomorrow, but I'm going to see if I can stretch it into 30 minutes, because if so, I can probably get it out by Sunday. You know, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to see what I can do. It's going to be great. I'm really excited. It's finally, we're near the end game, boys. You know, big city snipes central, boys. We're almost at the W's. All right, thank you. Trying to think, like, why isn't, why do you not want to play my fucking music? One quick moment. Now I got an echo. quick, I do have a super chat from Pope Biscuit. I want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me now, and it's not a case of fucking. God damn it, Bob Dylan. God damn it, Bob Dylan. So there we go. I actually managed to get it. Okay. So here. Pope Biscuit for $3. Tell Shota we miss him. Sleep night, nigga. There we go. Okay. I finally got it. I finally got it. Now let's go back.